All right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. We're going to be getting started very shortly with some patch 5.3. I've got the notes here. I'm currently downloading the beta. I just got back from a work trip, so I didn't have the time to download it on my home PC until just now. And as usual, it's trying to reinstall the entire game. So it's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I've got the patch notes here. I've also got Samurai Warrior from the Legio Italica YouTube channel. He is here with some insights in chat, so we're going to bring him in here right now. Samurai Warrior, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, hello there. I'm fine. How are you? And hello, everyone in chat.
Doing good, doing good. Just checking the levels here. You guys will let me know in chat if he's too loud or too quiet, but yeah, I've got the patch notes here. A big headline, of course, is the Grave Guard with halberds. I haven't had a chance to use them yet, but just based on their stats, and their melee attack defense stat line isn't great. Their weapon strength is pretty good for halberd around their cost range, but it's not, I mean, if you compare them to Tomb Guard, they're definitely, I mean, lack of shield but better armor, kind of worse stats all around except for the weapon strength is better and the armor is better pretty much.
They also have 19 bone versus large, which is pretty big. So they are extremely specific for fighting against large targets.
Right, they're not going to be like some halberd, especially elite halberd units, can kind of hang against a lot of other infantry, whereas these guys will definitely suffer, especially against like dedicated armor-piercing infantry. But even with that stat line, just getting bogged down with like, I don't know, waves of low-tier units, they're probably not going to hang that great. That being said, they do synergize really well with a lot of Vampire Count's playstyles, kind of around corpse carts, mortis engines, kind of blob-focused builds. Oftentimes those were punished, at least in the current meta, by sort of these big world-beater monsters. So now you at least have an infantry that will support in that matchup. I don't know if they're necessarily going to win against like really big scary stuff, but it'll help at least. Moving on, we've also got another big kind of wide-sweeping change. They've implemented some more unit caps, classifying a few more things as single entities. There's now a hard cap of 5 total single entities. That includes characters, monsters, and war machines. Stuff like corpse carts, single entity artillery has also been added in. So yeah, unfortunately, the 10 corpse cart build is dead. We can say goodbye.
We can sadly say goodbye to one of the best builds ever made. Yeah.
It will be missed, certainly. Elmengorst is somewhere just absolutely crying. Another change also, Conquest mode in quick battles at least. In ranked matchmaking has been set to 650 tickets. No contest mechanic yet, but 650 tickets, if both players are able to contest the point, your maximum game length is like going to be around like 22 minutes, right? So that's maybe a little more, but that's pretty good. I mean, that's 20 minutes is like the limit of regular land battles, right? So I think that's kind of the goal, is for like the longest conquest games to really not take much more than the longest land battle games. But yeah, what do you think, Samurai? Pretty good change. Have you had a chance to play any conquest yet?
So I didn't have a chance to play Conquest, but I think the change is pretty good. You know, now it gives you more time to kite if your strategy is to kite. And in general, it just creates a little bit of, it gives you more time to develop your strategy. One thing that I'm not super happy about is that it also will allow players that want to spell kite the ability to do so more freely. Because we have to remember that the reason why we have Conquest in the first place is people generally tend to not follow attacking rules when they are on the ladder.
Yeah.
So yeah, giving them more time is fine if you're fighting in a tournament, where you have rules, there are admins, maybe also some referees. If you're fighting against some rando on the ladder, that could be a bit problematic, especially if they decide they want to sit in a corner and shoot you with a magic missile for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely can be frustrating. Certain factions, definitely more than others, I think will have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, in any kind of game mode, there's going to be ways to try and cheese it. But I think this will definitely set a good precedent for, like you said, like most good faith like ladder players and a lot of tournaments and stuff, I think this will be just a great default to try and work from. That's
Absolutely.
pretty much. Oh yeah, one more big change as well. Encourage basically was set to what it was for Twisted and Twilight. In old Warhammer 2 and in Warhammer 3, it's been different between like characters and units with Encourage. Now it's been normalized, so all Encourage is the same. It's all just +4 leadership. Another huge change as well that catches a lot of factions is Chariot Mass, and this is something I've talked about a lot on this channel before. A Chariot Mass has largely been standardized, and I should note specifically that certain war machines, like if it's classified as a war machine, it probably wasn't changed. Everything else, single entity chariots, multi-model chariots have been kind of standardized. Small chariots have 1,000 mass, like Goblin Wolf chariots. I think they might be the only small chariots. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but maybe the pump wagons also?
Yeah, maybe pump wagons. I cannot think of any other small chariot, but maybe with the halflings.
Yeah, hopefully someday. Medium chariots, 1,500 mass, that's like the Ithilmar, and actually the Tirnok both have 1,500 mass, I noticed. Yeah, there's a lot of chariots actually fall into that medium category, like Tomb King chariots. Monstrous chariots, that's like, Gore Beasts, Lion chariots, stuff like that, is 2,000 mass, and monstrous single... Like, oh, go ahead.
Elf Flayers and Seeker chariots, so something that you see and you think, yeah, that might be heavy. They're 2,000 mass. There's more in the 2,000 mass than in the 1,500 category.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool beasts pulling chariots, between Seekers and bears and, Gore Beasts, lions, pigs, everything else.
Yeah.
Monstrous single entity chariots, that's like Cetra, basically on Chariot of the Gods, is 3,000 mass. I should note, again, like steam tanks weren't changed in terms of mass. They did get another nerf we'll get to in a minute, but they still have like 5,000 mass. Certain, single entity war machines like Volkmar's War Altar Mount, or what's the one, Cauldron of Blood, or the Dark Elves. Those also, I think, 2,000 mass, you said?
1,700.
1,700. Okay, so again, those ones haven't been adjusted. Hopefully that's something that can be looked at in a future patch as well. But definitely great changes to chariots. You were telling me just before we started the stream that they seem to perform more or less as intended. Like they do well against infantry. They will generally lose against like cavalry and dedicated anti-large like monstrous infantry, right?
Yeah, the only thing that's still to test, in my opinion, is big chariot blobs. They might be hard to catch.
I see. So maybe like unit limits on maybe chariots as a unit type in the future, perhaps, if this change proves effective enough.
A cap on single entity chariots. Yes.
Single entity chariots, okay. Maybe classifying more of them as rare single entities, so they fall in that 3 single entity cap. Although with a cap of 5 single entities as well, that should help improve things. Okay, still downloading. That's fine. There was also a change to flying charge speeds. There was a bug where flying units could be observed slowing down when they're charging from the flying to the ground state. So now the charge bonus of most units that can fly in the game has been increased, so it's fire from their charge speed. I'm assuming that's their charge speed bonus and not their actual charge bonus. Which is higher than their flight speed, so they should be able to now charge down to the ground a little bit more effectively. There are still some known issues. There's units with a certain collision type have problems where missiles can go through the top little 5% of their collision box and not hit them.
Volkmar, where you hit his head and nothing happens.
Right. Hit the altar, like the little statue on top of the altar, and it does no damage.
Yeah, or the Thunder Barge, actually.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that one, for sure. Articulated vehicles, such as chariots, can be hit multiple times by projectiles. You'll see this most commonly if you have something huge like a land ship getting shot from the front by like a dwarven cannon. It will get triple or quadruple hit sometimes, maybe even more than double hit, because the hitbox is so huge. But that's still an issue. And units that are docked to walls also, if they're half docked to gatehouse, will have their line of sight restricted. Not really relevant to this channel, siege battles, but I guess some people will care about that. It's definitely an issue I've noticed when playing campaign, I should say. But that's basically it for sort of the overall changes. Yeah, anything to add, Samurai?
No, nothing, nothing in particular to add. I think that the specific changes are gonna be a bit more interesting than the overall, you know?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see. I think it'll shake up the meta pretty significantly. Mostly, I mean, Chariots have been unusable for a lot of factions for a long time, so just the fact that that component of their roster will be, like, usable, I think it will definitely change some dynamics of certain matchups. But moving on, Gotrek, for some reason, got a 50 cost nerf. I mean, he was decent, I guess, before, but definitely more expensive than the Slayer hero, so maybe they're trying to normalize that a little bit. Yeah, moving on to the Beastmen. Bloodbrute Behemoth, since it's a Khorne beast, got an extra 20 armor. And thank the gods, Centaurs of Tzeentch, and I think Centaurs in general, got a cost increase. Yeah, like 100 for Tzeentch Centaurs, 50 for non-Tzeentch Centaurs. They didn't do the throwing axes, though, which is interesting. Just regular Centaurs with great weapons. Pestigors also got a nerf, a cost increase of 25, and a little bit of an armor and melee attack nerf. Razorgors, in addition to the aforementioned mass changes, also got a straight weapon strength buff, which is pretty considerable. Like an extra, 8 AP damage, and yeah, like 8 base weapon damage, an extra +1 bonus versus infantry, oh boy. But Bestigors are a little more chargy, they're a little faster, and have a higher charge bonus and charge speed. Cygors, Rock has a slightly bigger explosion radius, which helps, definitely. That's a good change for like a missile single entity in ultra unit size, for sure. Rock Span Ripper's got the same buff as the other Cygor, as best scores. Yeah, overall, pretty good changes. Beastmen were a very good faction before, but it's good to see Centaurs are definitely the most oppressive part of their roster. They were kind of brought into line while a couple of the other things were sort of brought up to Warhammer 3 standards, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, and now they have all the power of the chariots unlocked, which is gonna be interesting because, you know, factions with a lot of heavy infantry that can hold their line and allow their single entities to do whatever they want have always been a big problem for our Beastmen boys. So now having something to pierce through that infantry core might be very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I'm excited. Like, even in Warhammer 1, you know, my favorite Beastman builds were usually heavily Chariot focused. So it's definitely going to be a good time for like Kazrak and his boys, for sure. Moving on to Bretonnia. Again, thank the gods. Grail Guardians, Hippogriff Knights, and Grail Knights have all had their HP nerfed by like 500, which is a pretty considerable amount. Yeah, I guess like 400 for Grail Guardians, but pretty considerable HP nerf to some extremely powerful units. But the rest of their stats are still intact, so I think they'll still be very good, but just a little bit less oppressive. And yeah, Peasant Mobs also got plus 25 cost, which might not seem like a lot. That is actually a pretty big change for such a cheap unit. So yeah, Bretonnia getting some stuff kind of brought in line. They did get one tiny buff, a +2 base weapon strength to Questing Knights, which is like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, the nerfs definitely well-deserved.
Absolutely, and the buffs are just, here, take this as a payment. While it hands you, you know, a silver, like a copper.
Yeah,
coin.
basically. Like 1 cent buff, basically. But Questing Knights need more to be fully good again, but I think we'll see. I don't think they'll be great. But moving on to Chaos Dwarfs, got some buffs. Mostly, I think, right? I don't really see a ton of nerfs. Maybe a nerf to the train? Maybe not, actually. Yeah, it's looking like...
I think that the train remained exactly the same. It's straight up buffs. It's straight up buffs to everything, mostly in price decreases.
Yeah, a lot of cost decreases. Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders get a slight range bump, which is really nice, actually, for them.
And also Hobgoblin Archers.
Yes.
Olamasu got more HP, like 800 more HP, which is crazy.
Yep. It's considerable, definitely.
And spell resistance too, 25%.
That's nice. It's really nice. Definitely needed for a unit that's sort of supposed to be like an anti-magic specialist. I don't know. Not that it should have like silence on contact effect or something crazy like that, but nice to have at least a little bit of spell resistance. Orc Laborers also, minus 50 cost. Nice cost decrease to a cheap unit. Cathay Destroyer gets collision attacks, which, to be honest, it probably always should have had, but there you go. Dreadquake,
and
what, slight cost decrease?
All the Dreadquake cost decrease. Straight up cost decrease.
Yeah, a considerable amount, too. Like 400 in the case of the... I think
the demons only.
Yeah, the Toad ones.
Yeah, all the Toad ones got 400 decrease, and the Dreadquake just 200.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit more, well, I guess less painful if it just ends up missing all its shots or dying, but a little bit less risky.
Yeah.
But moving on, Demons of Chaos. The Demon Princes from the Warriors of Chaos roster are now on the Demons of Chaos roster as well. The reason they had the like very basic Demon Prince on the roster is so that people could load their custom Daniels, which has anyone ever done that actually? But he's been moved to the extended roster, and the Archelux Prince of Fury has as well. And there's been some kind of cost decreases of some of the stuff. Not a lot on the Demons front. They're actually in a really solid spot right now, so I'm not really surprised to not see too many changes. And moving on, we've got Dark Elves. Doomfire Warlocks, a little bit of a cost decrease. That's good. I kind of come around to them a little bit in the last patch. I thought they were pretty terrible up until now, but I've seen some use cases for them. Nice to see them just get a little bit cheaper so that those use cases become a little bit easier. Hellebron also gets a bit... Oh, that's just single-player cost reduction. That's fine. Yeah, let's see.
Like if you ever need to recruit her, you know.
Right, if you need to re-recruit her, or like a little bit of upkeep cost reduction as well, which I guess will matter somewhat for campaign. But Cold One Knights did get a nice HP bump, about 500 extra HP, and a slight melee attack nerf, like -1, and +2 to melee defense. So yeah, they actually have slightly higher melee defense now than melee attack, which is pretty interesting. But the HP buff is the biggest one. Cold One Knights for the longest time have struggled in cavalry fights because of their low HP, so that's going to make them definitely more impactful.
Absolutely. What I also want to see is that if the Bloodrock Shrines are gonna be more prevalent with a 200 gold decrease.
Yeah.
In price. And some buffs to the Scourgeoner Chariot mounts.
Yeah, the mounts for the longest time have had like the missile damage of one single Scourge Chariot, which there's 4 in a unit now, so that's... yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been that way since that DLC was released, so it's only been, what, like 5 years? that mount has had a broken missile attack, but finally it's fixed. That's great. Yeah. Pretty good changes for the Dark Elves for the most part. Nothing too crazy, but definitely some sensible changes. Yeah, still downloading, or installing, I should say. We're at about 60% now, so we should, at least in the second hour, get some live testing in. That's okay. There's like 50 pages of patch notes to go through, so we got plenty of time. Moving on to the Dwarfs. The Demon Slayer, way too cost-effective. Did get a -5 melee attack, melee defense. Same for the Dragon Slayer. I mean, the Demon Slayer probably could have used a little bit of a cost bump as well, even still. But it's okay. Definitely a stat nerf is okay.
I like that thematic lords can, you know, be preferred to other things. So I agree with the stat nerf. They were way too high, especially for a generic lord. I agree that the cost should be the same, though. I agree with Creative Assembly on that one. What I don't agree on is standard barges being only 200 gold more expensive.
Yeah.
It should have been 4,000 gold.
Yeah, at least. I mean, I was expecting them to tack on an extra 1,000 points to the Thunder Barge cost. I'm going to be honest, only 200 is pretty surprising. So, I mean, it'll still be banned, you know, in rule sets and everything. So that's a little bit sad to see, but I think legitimately you could make it 4,000 to even 4,500 for the base variant, and it's still going to probably consistently pay for itself with very little micro. So, you know, it's just a unit that's problematic in a number of ways. We've talked a lot about that in the past, but Now, that's not really changing in this patch, unfortunately, but the dwarfs are still going to be super strong. The bolt throwers have had a little bit of a rework to their rework. They were way too strong with the rework, with the extra unit models. So they decreased the health of each individual bolt thrower, so it'll make them quite easy to destroy with even like archer fire, I would imagine. They have also reduced the number of crew members manning each bolt thrower, so there's less crew members in the unit overall. That probably means an HP nerf, right? Yep, indeed it does. The reload time of each bolt thrower has been increased, so yeah, they should do a little bit less damage and be a little bit easier to kill. But still going to be quite strong, I think. I don't know. We'll have to see kind of how the balance shakes out.
Yeah, I think that combined with the slightly lower range than other artilleries, now other artilleries have the chance to bring the contest into an even ground, you know? You can kill 2 or 3 models now, compared to maybe 1 before.
Or if you're in a position where you're like spear leeching artillery from long range, or, you know, like the Wood Elves maybe have some archers or waystalkers trying to shoot from a hidden position, or use like arrows of Kurnos and stuff, it'll definitely just be easier to take those units out. So that's nice. The Skolder Guard Iron Drakes, tiny range buff. Rangers and Corlers with great weapons both got a cost decrease, which is interesting. I mean, the dwarfs are already really good, and the shielded rangers and corlers are basically taken always. You basically never take the great weapon versions, so it's nice to see a little bit of a cost decrease. I don't know that it'll make them necessarily like a common pick, but it's there. Flame cannons also get a range increase, and
just the grudge settlers though, not the regular unit.
On mine, it has the regular unit listed, but did that not make it into the game?
No. I'm on the live version of the patches, and it says just the grudge settler. Let me just check though. Let me just check.
Yeah, it's possible. I have it wrong here.
That's not only on the grudge settlers, also in the regular flame cannon.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, but it definitely needed it. I don't know if it'll be good even with that, but that's fine. The Thane got a cost increase, which I find really interesting. I mean, I guess he was extremely cheap before for how good his stats were, but especially compared to like the Empire Captain or other generic melee heroes, it's like, dang, this guy's very good. But yeah, gyrocopters, the steam gun variant, have removed fire while moving, which is a pretty big nerf. Gyros were super strong in the last patch. They also got a straight nerf to their missile and weapon strength. I had been seeing a lot of people kind of light cavalry charging, like archers, with gyros, which I personally loved. I think it was hilarious for dwarfs to have like an actual dynamic unit that could do stuff, but definitely not super balanced, so nice to see a little bit of a nerf there. Yeah, can't fire while moving, less melee weapon strength, and less missile weapon strength as well.
Yeah, they basically got everything decreased, you know, from the number of ammunition they can shoot to the damage that ammunition actually does, including the explosion damage, which is a pretty big and important part of a damage like the one from the gyrocopters or the brimstone guns that rarely gets talked about.
Yeah.
But these changes promise to nerf them by a lot. I would say 25 to 30% of their effective damage output.
Yeah, gyros, steam gyros at least, will be a lot less effective. The brimstone guns did get more ammo, but also had their missile strength reduced. So
by four, but so now it's 75% of what was before.
Yeah, which, you know, you got a good amount more ammunition, up from 42 to 60. So not sure really how that'll shake out in the end. Brimstone guns weren't the strong variant anyway, really. So yeah, it'll be interesting, definitely. Gyro bombers also removed firewall moving, which is fine, I guess. And yeah, some of the missile block chances were fixed that were incorrect from before. Some of the characters had not been correctly updated. Yeah, overall changes to the dwarfs. I guess some people expected more nerfs. I guess I kind of expected maybe some slight nerfs, but at the same time, the core of their roster is still basically what it always has been. So it's really just these few outliers, I think, that really needed to get taken in line, and definitely the Thunder Barge needs more nerfs, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty much the same. You know, the dwarfs are one of the easiest factions to play. at the lower levels and one of the hardest at the top. With the gyrocopters being as OP as they were also one of the easiest at the top ranks, and that cannot happen. So I enjoy that the gyrocopters got nerfed. What I don't like is the Thunder Barge still being as good as it is and still costing only 200 more. Like, if you want to take the Thunder Barge, you should have a very small army on the ground.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. It should be like close to half of the army cost, probably. But, yeah. Yeah, definitely very interesting. Let's see here. Moving on. Empire. Oh, this is one that some people are going to find this a little bit controversial, but I actually, as a fully biased Empire main, I agree with all these changes. So, starting with Demigryph Knights, they get +5 leadership, which they really needed. Especially the Demigryph Halberds, they're fighting big, scary stuff, and 75 just does not cut it. So up to 80 for them. They also get a hit point increase, about another 500 HP, which is great. The Halberds also get a stat increase. They get, melee defense, armor piercing damage, cost decrease as well, -50 cost. So Demi Halberds coming out aces in this patch for sure.
Oh, actually, the Royal Albert Griefites are the one that come on top of everything because they get Glorious Charge now.
I didn't even see that until just now. Wow, Glorious Charge is one of the strongest abilities for cavalry to have in the game. And they also go all the way up to 60 charge bonus. So the Royal Albert Griefites are basically like the lances and the halberds combined, except they still lack the shields of the lances, technically. But yeah, up to 90 leadership, 45 melee defense, 60 charge bonus with Glorious Charge. They are going to be insane now with Glorious Charge. That's actually nuts. I didn't see that until just now. But that's amazing. Yeah, Hertvig. Oh, he's a campaign only. Only don't care about him.
Yeah, that's Marcus Wolfhard campaign only. Witch Hunter.
Yeah. Archers and Deathjacks got their range bumped up to 130 instead of 120. And
higher calibration distance too. Not bad.
Yeah, so it should be slightly more usable. Volkmar the Grim, even though the War Altar didn't get its mass changed, it did get a straight weapon strength buff up to, what is that, like 400 total weapon strength? 240 base, 160 AP. That's great.
380, my bad. Oh no, wait, on the War Altar? Yeah, that's 400. It's still hitting like a wet noodle.
Yeah, still non-AP, but definitely better. I mean, it was like barely over 200 before, so... Tatter Souls, get an extra +1 melee attack, yay! Minor Regiment Renown stat that was incorrect, that's fine. Reiksguard, finally get -50 cost. It's a change I've wanted since, like, Warhammer 3 came out, so that's great.
Don't give them Glorious Charge when Karl Franz is around. Just give Karl Franz an ability that allows Glorious Charge for Reiksguard around him.
That sounds like a great campaign skill. That's sounds like an awesome campaign skill.
To be fair, and I don't want to completely derail the conversation, but what if those skills could also apply to multiplayer? Like, you pick a lord, that lord has an ability that buffs a specific unit. So you're incentivized to make, more thematic armies instead of whatever is stronger.
I actually really like that. I actually really do like that. And I mean, you have that a little bit with certain factions and lords, like kind of have like indirect synergies often. Some have very minor direct synergies, but I think I would agree that would be awesome. What would be even more awesome, and not that they would ever do this, but Avatar Conquest, where you could like have a skill tree and like upgrade your, like have your own Regiment of Renown and your own lord and kind of upgrade them over time. Anyway, yeah, we can all dream.
Yeah.
Speaking of dreaming, the nightmare of the steam tank might not be over, but still, steam tank and land ship both can no longer fire the hull mounted cannon in melee, and the collision has been fixed, so it's now possible to hit them in the rear. So that was a big problem with the steam tank and the land ship from before. We'll see. The Steam Tank, I mean, it wasn't technically banned under Fruit rules. I know it was banned in Vermin League, but it should be basically fine now. I mean, it's still probably going to be really strong, but it should be, like, actually killable by non-cannon artillery and, like, melee units. Landship also, same thing.
Yeah, consider that the rear is a specific place where any unit has 25% of its specific melee defense. So the Steam Tank goes down to 5 melee defense. Everything that's gonna try to hit it in the rear now can do that and will do that pretty hard and consistently.
Yeah, it's
I'm not against it.
I'm curious to
volley
see.
gun.
Go ahead.
The volley gun not being able to shoot in melee, that's gonna be a nice buff.
Oh yeah, the volley gun variant for sure is
Debuff.
It's a good nerf for sure. And yeah, the landship too. I'm curious, does that affect like the ROR landship has what, like a mortar on it as well? I'm curious, right? If I'm remembering right, it's been so long. since I've used
it has a
but-
mortar. It has a mortar on it. I don't particularly care if one single mortar shoots. To be
Yeah,
fair.
it's not super impactful, but I'm assuming it still does. It's not listed here, but yeah, overall, like I said, this Empire changes. I know Empire has a perception of being a really strong faction, but if you look at like win rates on Total Tavern, they're like dead 50% almost, like middle of the pack, and like 50% win rate. And in Conquest and in land battles, I think they're a little bit stronger, but I think the perception of the Empire, especially without steam tanks and land ships, they're not nearly as strong as people perceive them to be, I think. So, again, I agree with these buffs. I will admit I'm 100% biased towards the Empire, but that's fine.
Also, to take into account is the fact that Regrowth got nerfed. So
yes.
now instead of bringing units back to... Well, not that it doesn't affect steam tanks because they have perfect vigor. But yeah, now single entities get way less than they did before from Regrowth Caster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind. We'll get to the spell changes, I'm sure, in a little bit. But for Cathay, the Jade Longma has Fear now, which is nice for the Celestial General. So I was missing it before. Moonbird gets a cost decrease. The Jade and Jet Lion get a little bit of a damage bump in their armor-piercing damage, plus 20. That's pretty much it. Not a lot for Cathay. I mean, they're fine faction, very strong, but not like... And they have some matchups that they can struggle with, so it's fine. Greenskins, Grom's AP ratio has been flipped, which means he now deals majority AP damage. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm curious to see how strong he is now.
I don't know how anyone could look at Grom the Punch and say, yep, he needs buffs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't really seen him used much. I know he was super impressive at the end of Warhammer 2, but I guess I don't see him that much in Warhammer 3. But we'll see. Rogue Idol actually hits less entities on its splash attack. Interesting. So it'll actually, like, kill the models more consistently now, right?
Yeah, that's the intended effect. Like, you reach a certain threshold where if you hit all the models in a unit, you're gonna do a lot of damage, but kill no one. With this change, you just, you kill 8 models of cavalry every time you hit, instead of slightly damaging 10.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely seems good. Big and also gets magic attacks and explosion radius, same as the Cygor, basically, right? Because it has the Cygor's throwing attack, more or less.
Exactly.
Feral Wyvern gets a significant cost decrease, which is good, because it was way too expensive before, down to 1,300 from 1,600. Fanatics, like, plus 10 cost increase, which is weird, but...
Decrease.
Oh, decrease,
Minus
sorry.
10.
Minus 10, yeah. Why were they at 35? Why is any unit at 35? That's weird. Down to 725. The Wyvern mounts also got a little bit cheaper for the Lords, which is nice. And Orc Boys also, they were at 430 for some weird reason. They're now at 425, so that's been standardized. No one knows why, but...
I mean, someone really liked it free.
Yeah. Really wanted them to be at 30. Reason than 35. But anyway, High Elves, moving on to them. Phoenix Guard finally get immune to psychology. Ryder Rohan, wherever you are, you can cheer, you can shout for joy. Phoenix Guard finally have immune to psychology. And Keepers of the Flame also, it got immune to contact effects. Wow, that's quite strong in some circumstances. and immune to psychology, of course. Slight cost decrease for Eltharian's Stormwing Mount, which is nice. Minus 50 cost, not huge, but it's something. Everything counts for the High Elves for sure. But Teclis also gets a plus 20 AP on his Arcane Phoenix. Rangers, a little bit of extra base and armor-piercing weapon damage. The regular Arcane Phoenix also gets the same weapon strength buff. War Lions get plus 2 bonus versus infantry. Whoa, they're fixed, guys. That actually will help a tiny bit, but I don't know. They'll still be...
I think that with the Chariot changes, you know, the Chariot change is gonna probably be the biggest one for the High Elves.
No, definitely. Well, in addition to the mass changes, their chariots also did get a buff. Lion chariots just a straight weapon strength, pretty considerable weapon strength buff in melee. The Tyrannok chariots actually have a little bit more missile damage as well. I actually made a video recently talking about how the Tyrannok chariots missile attack is actually like pretty decent. It's even better now, which is nice. Ever so slightly at least. Flamespire Phoenix also gets weapon strength buff, as does the Frost Heart. So all Phoenixes across the board, you know, they still had kind of large unit size weapon strength, so they've now been upgraded to ultra unit size weapon strength. Yeah, overall, great buffs to the High Elves all the way around. Just some very slight kind of adjustments, but definitely things that were needed, I think.
Yeah, just one question looking at this. Do Dark Elves, the equivalent of the Phoenix Guard for Dark Elves, have immunity to psychology now? Or are they the only top infantry left without it?
I think Blackguard do
Because they
have
got
immune
it
to psychology.
through- Yeah, that must have been an earlier patch that I didn't notice then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe they always had it. I don't remember, because I remember I've done a bunch of comparisons in the past between specifically Blackguard and Phoenix Guard, and Blackguard were always better because they had immune to psychology and better weapon strength, but even like with healing factored in, they still would usually just be better. But yeah, it's nice to see overall buffs, and especially like you said, the chariots should actually help the High Elves considerably, especially in infantry fights. And the buff to Rangers too. I mean, you get a few actually really nice anti-infantry tools now. Moving on to Khorne, I'm at 90% install now, so we should be about ready to actually fire the game up. We've got an Exalted Hero of Khorne getting a slight melee attack decrease, which is interesting. The Herald of Khorne on the Blood Throne. Seems like Blood Throne's got a buff. Blood Reaper also on the same mount. So I'm assuming Blood Thrones just get, what, more weapon strength, a little bit less bonus versus infantry, and entities hit by splash attacks. But more weapon strength means they should actually, like you said, kill those unit models instead of just slightly damaging them. Blood Reaper also gets an armor buff in addition to that. Let's see, the Blood Shrine of Khorne has a little bit more weapon damage. Is that the War Shrine? Or I'm thinking of? Or
no, that's
the Chariot thing?
No, the Skull Cannon, where is it?
Skull Cannon, here it is. Yes, it's the next one, actually. So that also got a similar weapon strength increase, you know, splash attack change, so it should be more consistent in melee. But it also, very importantly, has a little vortex on its projectile now. The projectile doesn't penetrate unit models, but instead now spawns a small static vortex on impact, similar to, like, the magma cannon. Yeah, so that's a really, really nice change. It should definitely be much better against infantry.
And it will be as long as it doesn't overshoot. Sorry for my pronunciation.
No worries. Yeah, the Blood Brute we talked about. Gorby's chariots also get a nice weapon strength increase in addition to the mass increases. Forsaken of Khorne get a health buff. Is that, I guess, all Forsaken, I'm assuming, got that health buff? We'll see. Bloodthirster gets a weapon strength.
Maybe just the Khorne ones, because of their lower melee defense, you know.
They
need to tank more hits in their face.
It makes sense, definitely. Bloodthirster gets plus 20 AP and plus 5 bonus versus large. I'm assuming the Exalted does as well, because the Bloodthirster is listed in these notes twice. Minotaurs here. Yeah, recruitment cost has been increased in multiplayer, decreased in single player. Yeah, the Minotaurs, regulars and the Great Weapons cost the same, which I'm kind of surprised. I thought maybe the Great Weapons would get a little bit more of a cost increase. It'd be slightly more expensive since they're just generally better. but that's fine. Khorne's Bloody Fist, Bloodthirster also gets the same buff. Yeah, some minor buffs to Khorne. They're definitely awaiting their DLC. I guess the major buff to the Skull Cannon, or at least a rework. But definitely should be interesting to see how it goes in Melee. Okay, I thought it was done. It's actually just reset the entire count. So, I don't know, Samurai, if we're going to actually get any live tests again today. But
Oh, God.
that's fine. We can keep going through these patch notes.
I mean, we have time for that.
Yeah, we definitely... Oh, we're like not even halfway through the patch notes, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Kislev. Zarina's Ice Court Sled had its run speed decreased and charge speed as well, so it should be a little bit easier to catch. Kislev Warriors got a cost increase. The Streltsy ROR had its splash attack behavior corrected. I guess it was bugged. Yeah, Frostworm had a cost increase and added collision attacks, so a buff and a nerf at the same time. Things in the Woods, cost increase, basically like just cost increases, like Horse Archers, Dervishes, Heavy War Sleds, Light War Sleds, Elemental Bear, just kidding, that actually just got splash attack reduction in max
and
entities.
Attacks, finally.
Yeah, and again,
Oh, God.
yeah, finally collision attacks for the big bear. Yeah, and then
So a lot of nerfs to very basic units that you always see, which is pretty nice because that means you're gonna see less of them.
yes, and no nerfs to their cavalry, which I found, well, I guess heavy cavalry, some very slight nerfs to the light cavalry, but yeah, I mean, I guess winged lancers were pretty much fine, maybe even arguably a little bit overcosted at 1,000, but the Griffin Legion should still be very good. Like, nothing about them changed. So, yeah, moving on. Lizardmen. All Carnosaur and Ripperdactyl units and mounts now benefit from the Primal Instincts ability. Don't actually remember what that does, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now. So we are looking at Lizardmen and we are looking at Ripperdactyls. Primal Instincts gives them 15% charge bonus, 5 melee attack, and 5% physical resistance, as long as they have less than 50% HP.
Okay, so they get
It's a buff in a dire situation, basically.
Yeah, once they've taken some damage, they get more scarier. Yes, looking good there. Just checking something. Okay. Yeah, Red Crest Skinks have been in the dumps for a long time. They get a nice buff. Cost reduction, a little bit of extra melee attack, charge bonus, and weapon strength. All the way around, offensive buff, and a cost decrease. Should make them a lot more usable, because they're probably one of the worst infantry units in the game before, in my opinion. But
yeah, I think that an HP buff would be direly needed for the Red Crested Skinks. They're supposed to be tougher than the regular Skinks. They barely have... No, they have less melee defense.
yeah.
And 40 more HP for 40 more models. 40 less models, my bad. So yeah, they should get an HP buff, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. With this buff, they'll be better for sure. I don't know. 525 is not a lot to pay for kind of an offensive, kind of chargy infantry unit, so... We'll see. I mean, I think the cohort of Sotek, at least Regiment of Renown, will see a little bit of a comeback. It's kind of interesting to me, actually. This is, again, a little bit of an aside, but in the replays I've been sent a lot in Warhammer 3, I don't see people taking the unbreakable infantry RORs nearly as much. Like the Sons of Sigmar used to be in literally every single Warhammer, Warhammer 2, like Empire build, even in Warhammer 1, to be honest. I just don't see them as much in Warhammer 3 for whatever reason, but...
I guess that, you know, if it's in Conquest, you really don't need a unit that dies and holding a position. So yeah, and maybe for example, the Regiment of Renown Red Crested Skinks are 200 more than a regular Red Crested Skink. When you're looking for every penny, that unbreakable trait might not look so appealing over 200 gold.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see that for sure. Well, yeah, and it's not like, again, especially on a bad base unit, like Red Crests are not a great base unit to sort of pay an extra 200 for that. It's like extra feels bad. Um, but yeah, the Sons of Sigmar, it's like base Empire Swordsmen are fine. I mean, they're kind of the unit that the game is built around, to be honest. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
but
just
you're paying double
yeah,
because
basically
Empire Swordsman is 375, Sigmar Sons are 700.
right.
Like they cost more than a unit of Halberdiers.
Yeah, yeah, it
Like
makes
the
sense.
the price increase is pretty steep. Like
Yeah,
at around 550, 600, you would see them every day of the week.
yeah. Yeah, maybe a cost decrease in the future patch. But anyway, speaking of cost decreases, Lord Croak actually got one, which is pretty surprising to me. I mean, I guess he can sometimes be a little inconsistent if your opponent's good at dodging his attacks, but he's still pretty good, honestly, in a number of ways. Gorok also got a minus 200 base cost decrease, which is nice. Nakai got a significant rework. Nakai now grants all units in his army the Woodsman attribute in campaign. His Sacred Wanderer skill now grants all units in his army Vanguard deployment in campaign. He also himself has Vanguard deployment, Woodsman, and Causes Terror, and that's in multiplayer. So,
Oh yeah.
that's awesome, first of all, because it means you get a very strong, like, it's similar to Durthu, honestly, where, in Durthu, we'll get to in a minute, you get some significant buffs, like ambushing coming from Vanguard with Terror, can definitely, like, come in fast, especially with some, pair them with, like, some Rippers or some other kind of shock units, try and get some units off the field very quickly. You can definitely shut down and disrupt opponents very well, or even, hiding him in the woods so he's not getting shot by cannons on the approach against some factions. It will be quite nice. And speaking of getting shot by cannons, he also gets an extra 10% missile resistance to cap it all off. Quite nice.
Absolutely. Then I guess the Shredder of last year just gets a slight nerf. Combined with the nerf to regrowth, that should bring them in line. Now that they have collision attacks, they were pretty good.
Yes.
King Coracle, Slight Coast Decrease, Coatl. Splash attacks. They hit less models now.
Yes, so they can
That
actually kill
seems to
them.
be a pretty common thing now.
Yeah, a lot of monsters had, again, like too many splash attack targets with their low weapon strength. So this should help them perform at least killing models a lot more consistently. Yeah, the Feral Troglodon also, and the regular Troglodon, or the Regiment Renown, I should say, get a minus 50 cost as well. Rockar gets minus, like, 200 on...
200 gold on everything.
Yeah,
on everything.
on everything. That's awesome. Source Old Blood, same thing, minus 200 on all his mounts, except I guess the Carnosaur only gets minus 50 for the Scar Vet and the Old Blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carnosaurs also, base Carnosaur, Feral gets minus 50 cost decrease. Carnosaurs are one of the worst kind of anti-large monsters in the game after a lot of others have seen buffs, but cost decrease will definitely help them. I don't know if they'll be meta or anything, but it'll help them for sure.
Yeah, then we get to Norsca.
Oh yeah, Norsca. Yeah, Norsca on the whole, pretty good, even though they're not really played very much because they're very stale. It's not like they're necessarily bad. But the War Mammoth...
You would be pretty bored of playing the same faction since 2016 too.
Yeah, exactly. It's only been... yeah, it's only been 8 years. But Wolfric the Wanderer does get a slight decrease to his War Mammoth cost. Berserkers, a little bit more charge bonus and speed. Chaos Frost Dragon also gets a cost decrease. The Voider actually gets a cost increase. It was, like, way too cheap for a Regiment of Renown, almost the same price, actually. So now it actually has, like, a Regiment of Renown cost. And it also gets Ignoring Contact effects and Frenzy, which, I mean, those two, I'd take those two for 100 points any day, to be honest. Like, Frenzy is awesome. And Ignore Contact effects, especially considering, like, let's say you're trying to, like, debuff something with speed, right? If this thing gets poisoned, it might not be able to keep up or get into range to start to slow enemies down. So just in general, Ignoring Contact effects, it's actually pretty useful for the role of this monster specifically. Yeah, Feral Mammoths also cost decrease. regular mammoth. Let's see here. The Marauder Ice Wolf Chariots. If you're in-game right now, actually, could you pull up and see what their mass is? I'm curious to see how they've classified them. I'm assuming they're medium chariots, but they might be monstrous, maybe?
They have 1500 mass.
Okay,
medium.
so they are medium chariots then. Okay, that I wasn't sure.
Same as the Marauder Chariots.
Interesting. Yeah, and I don't remember. Do they still not shoot 360 as well? They still only shoot.
Oh yeah,
forward?
they don't shoot 360.
Okay, that still needs to be fixed. But they did get a missile damage increase, so if they can throw their axes at stuff, they should actually do some pretty good damage now.
Oh yeah, each axe is like 100 damage.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, especially if you're throwing at like some cavalry or something. Yeah, the Marauders with great weapons got a cost decrease, minus 25. Brutes of the Hound, minus 50. Soul Crusher, minus 100. Yeah, some of the like campaign-only characters, which I really, really still, if anyone from CA is watching this, please, can we get them in campaign? Please, I promise Kilgore Slaymaim isn't any more broken than anything in multiplayer. He's not any more broken than anything. It's already in multiplayer. I'm telling you. Like, please, can we get some more character variety? They're already there. Just add them to multiplayer, and they're balancing them. Like
just regular Lord, come on.
Yeah, just Kilgore Slaymaim gets a little bit more attack and defense and charge bonus. Azric, the Maze Keeper, gets basically is actually a Tzeentch demon now. Gets physical resistance and like some of the other corrections that had been done to. The Lords of Change, and the big Great Unclean one as well, Burple Smirk. He gets a health increase and less entities hit by splash attacks, which I'm assuming we are getting to Nurgle actually next. If I just kind of scroll ahead a little bit here and look, did that? Yeah, the same buff was also given to regular Great Unclean ones, so that's a nice transition. I see also Forsaken of Nurgle did get a health bump as well. Maybe not as much as the Khorne ones. They're about 700 extra HP, which is pretty good, actually. Yeah, if I go back...
see, so, Nurgle already gets more HP by default. So it's gonna be pretty difficult to see. So what was the buff to
Khorne ones?
From 7360 to 8000.
Oh, okay.
So let me just check any regular Forsaken on the Warriors of Chaos roster, for example. 8000 is the number we're looking for. So yeah, all Forsaken are 8000 now.
Nice.
Except for the Nurgle one, which have 720 more HP.
Nice. Yeah, so they maintain their health advantage, and that's nice, honestly. Nurgle Forsaken, with that amount of HP, I mean, they've always been some of the better Forsaken. Them and the Tzeentch ones, to be honest, with the barriers, can be good at times. But maybe we'll see some more use. The Nurgle ones especially, with that amount of HP, like, that's pretty solid, honestly. That's basically regular infantry HP, more or less.
Yeah, and the Tzeentch ones, funnily enough, are still the tankiest. Yeah, because they have 800 barriers, so they have 8800 HP as an infantry, more than Nurgle.
Feel the balance. Back to Nurgle, though, we did get a significant mass buff to the Rotbeast mounts, up from 1200 to 1800, which is great. Those things were already pretty good, but they could definitely get stuck and die easily. So that will make characters on Rotbeast mounts like pretty meta, I think, actually. Which they kind of were before, but even more so now. The Exalted Hero of Nurgle did get a melee attack nerf, minus 10 on all mounts, and also got the mass buff to his Rot Beast, so a little bit of a mixed bag, but he was pretty ubiquitous before, so maybe a deserved nerf. Marauders, I'm assuming all Marauder great weapons got the same cost decrease that we saw with Norsca. We see it again here with Nurgle. Same with Chaos Warriors, actually, with great weapons, so I'm assuming we'll see that also with Warriors. Yeah, the Plague Drones Death's Head's ROR got their charge bonus doubled, literally. Interesting. Yeah, Rot Knights get a little bit more leadership and armor, which they definitely needed, and more mass as well. Not quite as much as the characters, but up from 1200 to 1500. And the Rotting Riders also get the same. Yeah, and a cost decrease on them as well, down to 2200. Kargan aligned stats to match and surpass that of a standard Exalted Hero, so he should actually be better than a regular Exalted Hero now. I think he's the campaign-only guy, right? Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
Is not. He just gets the mass buff on his mount, which I think you can't actually take him unmounted, but anyway, Toad Dragons, thank the gods. Get collision attacks.
You cannot take it unmounted.
Yeah, K's, yeah. But yes, so many monsters just head-scratchingly did not have collision attacks before, including the Toad Dragon that has now been fixed. It also gets a cost decrease and less entities hit by its splash attacks, and a turn speed increase, at least for Tamarkan specifically. I don't see that one on the base Toad Dragon, so I guess Tamarkan can order his Toad Dragon around more effectively than an unmounted one, which actually does make sense, and should make him a lot less susceptible to just dying.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm gonna have to make a quick call. I'll be right back.
Sure thing. We'll move along here. Pestigors. Yeah, Pestigors, multiplayer cost a little bit increased, so we actually went over them before with the Beastmen. So yeah, let's skip past that. Rotflies and the Plague Drones, like we saw with the ROR, had their charge bonus literally doubled up from 16 to 32. Exalted Great Unclean One, 1000 extra HP, like we said, and a reduction of splash attack targets, so it will actually kill models. That's pretty much it for Nurgle. Yeah, the Forsaken we talked about. Pretty good changes overall. Haven't really been reading the chat too much. Mostly been focused on this. But yeah, just looking through here. Yeah, Terror alone is going to help Nakai a ton, definitely. Change to Ultra made a lot of offensive infantry worse, defensive infantry better. I agree with that, definitely. It's a good observation. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, Greenskins, a lot of their infantry has struggled, definitely, at times in Warhammer 3. Black Orcs went from being one of the best infantry in the game to arguably one of the worst for their unit price. But, yeah, we'll get to Greenskins here in a minute. Ogre Kingdoms is up next, though. Greasus, in anticipation of his DLC, yes, he's claiming it as his own. He has got a minus 100 cost, so that's not a lot, but it's something. Skaven, oh, that's it for Ogres? Okay, yeah, that's it for Ogres. Okay, Skaven are up next. So the Doomflayer mount has had just a slight adjustment, really. A little bit of a buff, plus 9 bonus versus infantry, and a significant amount more mass, up from 800 to 1500. So, I mean, you'd see Ikit on the motorcycle at times in Warhammer 2, not really ever in Warhammer. Excuse me, in Warhammer 3. Maybe it'll be a little bit more effective now, make a little bit of a comeback. I'm assuming that was, yeah, same for the Warlock Master on his Doomflayer mount. The Doom Wheel also got a cost increase for Ikit Claw. Interesting. The cost did not change for the Warlock Master, but, I mean, it does make sense. Ikit is, like, objectively the best Doom Wheel because it has 3 shots instead of 2 for the ROR or 1 for a regular Doom Wheel. So, it kind of makes sense. Also got an extra plus 100 mass to kind of align with Chariot masses, although it is a war machine, technically. And an AP and regular weapon strength buff as well. So the cost was increased, but the damage output also, in melee at least, was increased, and a slight mass bump as well. The weapon strength and mass bump also apply to the Warlock Master's Doom Wheel, and I'm assuming the base Doom Wheel as well. Yeah, let's see here. Doomflayers get a nerf, significant nerf, minus 5 melee attack, and like minus 15 total weapon strength, a little bit extra bonus versus infantry though. So again, they're definitely sort of emphasizing their anti-infantry role over them, like overperforming against cavalry and other large type units. Entity mass has also been increased for them, so Doomflayer is a little bit of a nerf, a little bit of a buff, probably will come out about even, or maybe even better against infantry, sort of for their intended targets. Very interesting.
I'm back.
Welcome back, just in time for the Doom Wheel, like I said, with the like Ikits and the Warlock Master, they also, the regular Doom Wheels, get a weapon strength and mass buff.
Just 2,000 mass though, not 3,000.
Yeah,
because they're considered a war machine.
Right. They're not like monstrous chariots, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I think they should have 3,000, or at least Ikits maybe should have like 2,500. I don't know. Anyway, Throt also gets a little bit of a cost decrease on both of his mounts. Minus 400 on the Brood Horror. Wow, that's a lot. He was way overpriced, to be honest, on that mount. Yeah, Mutant Rat Ogre gets a splash attack decrease, which should improve performance. Sensor Bears get a little attack and defense buff, which is nice. And the Doom Wheel, yeah, we talked about that already. So overall, Skaven, they're one of the stronger factions actually in the game right now. Like, I would say they're A, maybe S, honestly, given some of the interactions. But I think the changes to Doomflayers will help them, like I said, not overperform against units they're not intended to be good against. And it will help them probably even be better against infantry, maybe. What do you think? Have you had a chance to test Doomflayers?
No, to be fair, no, but they were a very good unit before. They are still a good unit. They're just gonna be more specialized, and they're gonna hit slightly less against the, regular cavalry. Maybe they're gonna kill them slightly slower, but not. I don't see that much of a change in how they're gonna work, especially with the mass buff.
It's
mass buff.
yeah, the mass buff. Yeah. It will help definitely against like heavier infantry especially. But speaking of chariots against heavy infantry, Slaanesh up next. Yeah, all the chariots for Slaanesh got buffed. In addition to the mass increases, they also just got straight weapon strength and charge bonus buffs in some cases. The Heartseekers and Hellstriders also got weapon strength increase, and like Heartseekers get an extra charge bonus. Luris on, again, single entity chariots. Luris on her chariot mounts got some buffs as well.
And Kari finally got a decent charge bonus, because before it was like the same charge bonus as a naked dude charging you.
Yeah. I feel like Creative Assembly overvalues, or at least previously overvalued, Devastating Flanker pretty significantly. We see a lot of Slaanesh units now just have the same charge bonus as like other comparable units, just with Devastating Flanker added on, which I think should have been the case from the beginning. But exactly. Nikari and the Exalted Keeper of Secrets both, like, more charge bonus, more weapon strength, and less splash attack targets, so they should be a lot more lethal in combat.
Absolutely. And the Fiends of Slaanesh, slight nerf.
Yeah. Slight HP nerf. I say slight, almost like 10% HP nerf, down from 8,928 to 8,128, so minus 800 HP. It's a pretty big change for sure. They're still going to be really strong, I think, but they'll be a little bit less oppressive, I think. And just given the changes to Slaanesh, I think you'll see a lot more chariots and a lot less reliance on fiends, which is definitely a good thing. As much as I love fiends, they're probably one of my favorite units for Slaanesh. They're very frustrating often to play against because of a bunch of reasons. But
yeah, one thing that I like, finally we are seeing buffs to the Hellstriders.
Yes,
they've been a unit that no one has dared to touch since the release of Warhammer 3. Like, they've been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed again. Now we are finally seeing some buffs.
Yeah, even if it's just a slight cost decrease, it's something. Yeah, like you said, they were a unit that's been hammered by the nerf bat, like just absolutely crushed. So nice to see a little bit of a comeback there. Yeah, jumping on to Tomb Kings, we've got Cetra. We talked a little bit about Chariot of the Gods mount from a mass perspective, but it also just gets Terror straight up, which again, it probably always should have had. And it also gets a weapon strength and bonus versus infantry buff. Yeah, a little preview here. Crypt Ghouls for vampire counts get a cost increase and a hit point increase and more armor, which is nice. Carrion also, for some reason, had a 380, which is a weird cost, so they're standardized 350. Sepulchral Stalker, Regiment Renown, and Ushabti Greybow Regiment Renown got a little bit of a cost increase, plus 50 each. And skeleton archer chariots have actually slightly better missile damage as well, in line with some other missile chariot buffs we've seen. Hex Wraiths, again, little preview, they get more leadership and more melee defense. So overall, some very slight nerfs, only to the Regiments of Renown, really, but not a ton of huge changes outside of Cetra.
Yeah, for the next patch, please Creative Assembly. I have one unit that I've always been looking for to being good. Necropolis Knights, please. Buff them.
Yeah, I mean, especially after looking at the Demigryph Knights buffs, it's like Necropolis, they're good in the right situation, but they might be one of the worst monstrous cavalries now after the Demigryph buffs. But we'll have to wait and see. Tzeentch, definitely one of the strongest factions for the longest time, actually gets some buffs. Well, at least for the Exalted Lord of Change, he gets his cost decrease and less splash attacks as well. Centaurs, we talked about, they get a cost increase. The Herald of Tzeentch also gets a slight cost decrease and a slight melee buff, which, I mean, he really shouldn't be in melee anyway, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on the Burning Chariot specifically. Okay. I guess that would mean then also Iridescent Horror on the Burning Chariot gets the same. The regular Burning Chariot and also similar.
Regular Burning Chariot. So yeah, just a slight change to Burning Chariots.
Yeah, should be a little bit more effective in melee, because I think in tabletop at least they were supposed to be sort of a hybrid missile melee unit, whereas in at least especially on the release of Warhammer 3, they were definitely very much missile focused. Now they should be a little bit better, although they still don't have a ton of HP, so you got to be very careful. But at least now, if you use all of your ammunition, they'll be a little bit better charging into melee afterwards.
Yeah, they're still gonna be sad.
Yeah, I think so. The Vampire Coast, probably not charging into melee anytime soon, with Carronades and Mortars getting extra leadership. It's nice, they'll crumble less easily. Queen Bess also gets less crew hit points per entity. But Queen Bess itself,
for Queen Bess.
Exactly, yes. So it was very easy to destroy Queen Bess herself often before. Now that'll be a little bit tougher, and the crew will die instead, which is great. They have more leadership as well, and more armor. So just overall tankiness increase for Queen Bess. Arnessa also gets a weapon strength buff on both foot and on the Rotting Promethean. Sirens, I think a lot of the ethereal units are getting more leadership just in general. They get +5. Tide of Skilled, Deckhand Mob ROR gets a -50 cost, and Fellbats also a -25 cost. So some nice little buffs for Vampire Coast. They're a pretty mid-tier faction, I would say, overall, but not super played because their playstyle is not very popular. But yeah, they're definitely there, and they're fine, I think.
We need an Anticity comeback to see them being played.
Yeah, he was probably the #1 main of them, like, over time. But, yeah, Vampire Counts also got some buffs. Some slight health increases to, looks like, the Zombie Dragon for everyone. Leadership for the Hex Race, like I mentioned.
Interestingly enough, this doesn't bring the mini defense buff.
Oh, yeah.
With it.
Yeah, it doesn't list it there. It only lists it for Arcan's specific Hex Race.
Let me just check. They're supposed to have 25 and then 32. Let's see which one is the true one. So they have 30 mini defense. The Hex Race. So yeah, they sit somewhere in between now.
Interesting. Very strange. Yeah, we do see a little bit of a mass change for the Mortis engine. It gets mass buff, actually, pretty significant, +400 mass. The Varix Reavers, Black Knights, Regiment of Renown only gets extra charge bonus, not the base Black Knights. They get an extra, what, 8 charge bonus. Yeah, Banshees.
Yeah, they now have the same charge bonus as the regular variant.
Oh, they had less before. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's odd. Like I said, with Ethereals, Banshee gets +10 leadership, Canrace get +5. Cryptghouls we talked about before. Skeleton Spears get -25 cost. Fellbats, same thing. The Black Coach, it's technically a war machine, or is it a chariot? It did get some buffs, though.
It is a war machine.
Okay.
It is a war machine, so it has 2,000 mass. But the biggest buff is that it has some better weapon strength, but it now hits more entities, which goes completely against everything else that they did for every other unit.
Yeah.
But all of its abilities now are the intensity goes up depending on the number of units that are killed around him and not by it. So
that's
yeah,
good.
Black Coaches now can charge their ability far quicker.
That's good.
Which is good.
Definitely is. It's a fun unit for the vampire counts and kind of unique. They don't really have anything else that fills that role, so it's good if it's usable, I think. Yeah, Warriors of Chaos here. Sarthrel gets a cost increase, interestingly. But some other adjustments here, like more health, leadership, more melee attack, more melee defense. I guess they're kind of just bringing him in line with the Exalted Lord of Change, I guess. In terms of his stats. He used to be kind of like in between the Exalted Lord of Change and Kairos. Now it looks like he's going more towards the Exalted side, and he has another item called the Rock of Inevitability. If you want to...
Minus 26 melee defense, minus 25% speed, and charge speed on all enemies around it in a 35-meter radius for 22 seconds. On a 90-second cooldown with no limit of uses.
That's really solid. That's like... I mean, any AoE melee defense buff generally is like one of the best support abilities you can have. That's really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's a nerf around him for all the enemy units of mini defense, speed, and God knows that the Warriors of Chaos don't need that, but they got it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have some really nice synergy with buff builds or rush builds rather, for sure. Both Warriors and Tzeentch, too, to be honest. I'm thinking now with the Chariot change and with the Forsaken change, you could probably come up with some pretty nice, aggressive kind of rush Tzeentch builds that don't incorporate many missile units at all, that just get in there and, and mess it up.
In the face.
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of Warriors, the rest, though, Kolek gets magic attacks innately. I don't know if that's going to make him, like, great, but it's something. The Resurrenowned Giant gets a slight cost decrease. 4 Beast Chariots we talked about before. Same with Marauders Great Weapons, Chaos Warriors Great Weapons. Exalted Hero also gets his melee attack nerfed for some reason. Forsaken we talked about. Yeah, overall, mostly changes we've seen already, but the changes for Sarth are quite interesting. He's one of my favorite lords personally, so I'm a fan of those changes. Yeah. Almost to the end
I guess
here.
that now we get... you say they're almost to the end. There's all the spells to look through.
Yeah, true. Wood Elves. Last faction, I should say. Ariel now leaves butterflies and flowers wherever she goes. How nice. And also plays animations when using Dart of Doom. Okay. Codil's campaign only, but Ancient Tree Man did get a melee attack and weapon strength buff, which is nice. As did the regular Tree Man, and I'm assuming Durthu as well. Yep, Durthu did get a cost increase and an extra 1,000 HP too, though. So, tiny nerf for Durthu, but overall, a pretty big buff.
I guess that the cost increase just... I mean, I'd pay 100 gold more every day of the week for, buffs to everything that makes it good.
Yes.
including a 10% HP buff, so yeah.
Yeah, bumping him over 10,000 is huge. I mean, I'd pay 100 points just for 1,000 HP alone, so the rest of these buffs are awesome. I mean, the weapon strength, too, puts him at, 560 total, so he'll be quite scary.
And just some sprinkle of things. And now, he also got, plus 8 melee defense.
Yeah.
So it's just harder to kill in melee for the vampire counts.
Well, at least they have halberds now. Yeah, Swift Shiver Shards get a cost increase, which was definitely deserved. Wildwood Rangers, this is one of the weirder changes for me, and one that I'm kind of struggling to understand. I mean, they get a melee attack and nerf. They get a weapon strength buff, kind of. I guess not really, just like -1 AP, +1 base.
Yeah.
They get Vanguard and Stalk, which is fine. Plus 14 bonus versus infantry when they are supposed to get anti-large in the forest, but now it gets more general melee stats when a terror-causing unit is nearby. I don't know. It's been reworked.
So I can kind of explain that. So, except for the, +1 base weapon damage and -1 armor-piercing weapon damage. That one I cannot explain. Why they got a rework of Guardians of the Wildwood? That's probably because, first of all, in multiplayer, no one can play in the forest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a useless ability you had to pay for.
Yeah.
And second of all, single player players don't like to play in the forest even when they're playing wood elves, because trees are block basically all the vision you have.
Yep.
So because of that, I guess they were like, yeah, that was nice in theory, let's just change it to something that's good. And to be fair, I think that 14 bonuses as infantry and plus 10 melee attack when they are close to some terror cozy unit. By the way, it doesn't say it has to be enemy or allied.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't specify. I wonder, have you tested it? Is that the way it works?
No,
is like
but
even if you have
I win
Durthu
now.
standing? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's also a good distinction. But I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense from the perspective that like they're great sword units, right? And great sword units in this game have anti-infantry, so it kind of makes sense from that perspective to be like, okay, they like other great sword units should have anti-infantry.
Yeah, exactly.
And this will help their performance against large, probably about the same as a bonus versus large would, because it increases both weapon strength and melee attack when a terror-causing unit is nearby. So, like, you know, they'll still be better when they're fighting against a big monster. But they'll definitely be less good against stuff like cavalry, which, again, not that you would really use them against cavalry before, or at all, really. But, yeah, it's definitely an interesting change. It was one that I was like, kind of puzzling at first.
So
but
it's only enemy.
Only
enemy
enemies.
terror-causing units.
Okay. That's a good distinction to make, but yeah, it does help them.
Yeah, just don't. I guess it helps them, but who will bring terror against wood elves anyway? Like, who will bring a big single entity that can cause terror and be shot in the first 20 seconds of the fight?
Yeah, definitely not. If anything, you're more likely to see like a Cav ROR that causes terror, or
Yeah,
maybe like a fast attack monster or something that's not big and scary necessarily, but just something that's small and scary.
and something that usually doesn't engage against your infantry.
Exactly. So, it's fine.
I mean, they're a nice pick against vampire counts now.
Yeah, the anti-infantry definitely will help in that matchup and in certain others, like maybe against dwarfs, although they'll still get shot to pieces probably in that matchup, so.
Yeah, again, I think that all elf units were designed where they have way less HP than they should have, but have higher stats. Just make them cost more, but have more HP and higher stats than normal.
Yeah.
That's my personal gripe against any and all elf units. So yeah.
Generally very true. But yeah, spells, bunch of Winds of Magic cost adjustments here, and I think that's basically all Winds of Magic cost adjustments looking at it, so I'm just going to quickly blaze through these. Assyrian's Incantation of Vengeance, +1. Kraken's Pull, -3. Kraken's Pull upgraded, -1. Dreaded 13th actually did get a cast range decrease. That's the only other change I see here. Flensing Ruin got +1 Winds of Magic cost, +2 for upgraded. It probably needed more, but that's fine. Black Whirlwind actually costs less. I recently saw that used to incredibly good effect in the South Sea Mercenary League Grand Final. That was actually a great use of Black Whirlwind, but yeah, it's just a little bit less expensive now. Mantle of Garok also less Winds of Magic cost. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess we can probably skip all of the just +1, +2 Winds of Magic and go to
it basically, if anything has changed.
Fresh Abundance upgraded now can only target 4 entities, 4 units instead of infinite units.
Yeah, like other.
So that's a straight nerf.
That is, it's like other AoE heals. You know, they all have max targets now, I'm pretty sure, except for maybe like the army ability ones. But yeah, any heal spells, you know, even overcasted for area of effect, now have max number of targets, which is definitely needed. Yeah, okay, Hysterical Frenzy actually did get changed, so it increases weapon strength now, base weapon strength. Did it only increase AP before, I think?
Yeah, and it also lasts more.
Yeah, extra, 12-second duration.
Green magic, now it's useful.
Yeah, it actually
Hell yeah.
applies spell mastery, which is nice, and can silence enemies. So,
That's basically, oh no, the enemy is casting a big spell. Let me silence that.
yeah, especially if you can cast it in time. Because Glean Magic cast time is like 1 second, right?
Let me check.
It's short. It's very short. So as long as you can like see the template before and like get the cast off in time, it would be tricky, but a high skill potential definitely.
Yeah, I think it's basically, it doesn't have a wind up time. So I guess that as soon as you click on the enemy, that's the cast time. Yeah.
Not
so
bad.
Yeah, that can be annoy you. That can finally be something that counters, oh, I'm blocked. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Just silence him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then regrowth updated. Vigor per second from -5% to -1, which doesn't look that much, but when you consider huge. that vigor goes from from 0 to 100, and regrowth the duration is 26 seconds. Before it always made a unit fresh. Now it only makes them like tired.
Yeah,
like it went from 100% plus to 26%.
Yep. Yeah, a lot better.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
A lot more balanced for sure. And I think, yeah, I mean, the healing is still the same. The healing part of it will still be really strong. But definitely and like some units won't care at all about the vigor change, right? Like, Grail Knights.
Steam tanks.
Yeah, steam tanks, exactly. But for the most part, a lot of units like Carl, Franz, for example, or like Lizardmen trying to regrowth, like Dreadsaurian, they're definitely going to feel this for sure. Especially in the later stages of the game when your units are very tired. Vigor is huge. It's one of the most impactful mechanics that is like not really shown to the players very much. At all. So it's often under considered when like, why am I losing this engagement? Well, did you check the vigor of your units and your enemies? Anyway, yeah. Besides that, if I'm just quickly scrolling through, I do see a little bit of a damage buff for Wind Blast.
Yeah, and Gehenna's Golden Hounds now can change direction in 360 degrees, which means they're gonna stay in the same place basically.
Yeah,
instead of going through a line.
Which is good. I like
Curse of the Years now.
Oh, silence. Nice.
Yep.
That's huge for vampire counts, potentially. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's not like spells really punish vampire counts or Coast, maybe actually this is more useful for, because you could shut down like Burning Heads or AoE damage spells that can be really nasty for your zombies.
Yeah, but like Curse of the Years it's a very expensive spell.
Yes.
One, long wind up time, so you need to cast that way in advance, and it's an area of effect.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just nice if you catch something in between. Like, I don't see that.
Yeah, you almost gotta like put like a melee timing push almost to take advantage of the melee stat decreases in the area of effect. Like, let's say you have like a caster that's being protected by a little goon squad. Then maybe this helps you, the caster can't support at all with their spells, and you can like kill the supporting units and maybe kill the caster themselves a little bit more easily. I mean, it's nice to have. It's not like crazy impactful, but it's definitely nice.
Yeah, for 11 Winds of Magic, that can pass.
Definitely. Yeah, unit abilities. This is non-spell unit abilities.
And there's a lot of them too.
Yes, there's quite a few of these. Blazing Body now requires less time in melee to charge up. Is that like most melee charge abilities? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I when I was reading them, I never went this far in the patch notes.
And sometimes it's hard to remember. Like, they'll give the name of an ability, but it's like, who? Like Omen of Hope. Who has the Omen of Hope? I don't even remember, to be honest.
Let me just go to Total War stats.
Wake of Fire is the Phoenix, the Flaming Phoenix species, right? That one has had its damage well, it has an AP component now. It didn't before, and it's overall damage
so
buff.
what was the one of hope?
Omen of Hope.
Let me see.
A Shield of Chakwa, which is the Regiment of Renown. Saurus Spears have a missile resistance ability, right?
Yep.
That's now has a bigger effect
yep.
range, which is nice.
That's
Giver of Furious Glory. This is the Khorne War Shrine ability. Now gives damage resistance and vigor decrease. Like it refreshes vigor. So that's huge. Or no, that's Giver of Glory. The regular Giver of Glory for the undivided one, I guess, is now refreshes vigor. Does that also apply to the War Shrine Mammoth? Can you check that for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
boy. So what you're saying is the War Shrine Mammoth now effectively has perfect vigor.
I mean, 1% is not that much when you go into melee.
That's true. It will still decrease.
It goes up faster. It goes up faster than 1%. Yes.
But it has much better vigor, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, for Norsca specifically,
absolutely.
that's great.
Oh, by the way, Omen of Hope is something that I think it's only in campaign.
Okay.
or wait, let me check because I need to see a Phoenix unit. Yeah, it's only in campaign, and basically it just gives immune to. Oh no, the Omen of Azurian has Omen of Hope.
Oh, okay.
It did give immune to psychology before.
Okay. So now it also gives vigor refresh. So again, a couple of monsters that have sort of support abilities also refreshing vigor. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Killing Fire
now.
Or sorry, Dark Renown for Drazoath now targets himself. That's great.
What does it do though?
I don't know.
Oh, +8 melee attack if unit is content. So yeah.
Tanomi asks, did they buff Pistoliers? No, they did not. That's the only Empire buff they didn't do that I really wanted, to be honest. But yeah, Aura of Agony and Aura of Ardor are now always active, rather than only being active in melee. Killing Fire is
the passive for the Ashut Lore of Magic.
Okay, it does more damage, double damage basically now. It's a decent amount, 6 per second, and it's like, what, 7 seconds? Something like that for the lore attribute, so...
Yeah.
Why aren't you showing the patch notes, by the way? Oh, that's true, they have the public patch notes posted, so I could just be showing those. I'm, like, reading the ones that they sent me. Let me go here.
Oh, that's why I was looking at your live, and I was like, why don't I see anything? So Aura of Agony. Enemies who fight near a Bloodrock shrine find their minds twisted by the echo of the Medusa's endless despair. That got changed. Is always active rather than only being active in melee. Okay, not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Hour of Ardor, I guess, is the same thing, but just
let's see.
Just the buff. Ardor. Yep, it's the same thing, it's just a buff. But now it's always active. Soul Discharge, I don't know what that is, but it got hit by a pretty big nerf. Sour Discharge.
Oh, there's just like multiple pages on the actual post from
Creative
Assembly. I was like, am I going insane right now?
No, you need to go into a small line where here is written, and then you need to click on that, and it's gonna open the one. And then you need to go pretty much to the end.
Yeah, I don't understand. I clicked on the second page of the notes, and it's just like, oh, there's...
No. Where there's, in the first page, when there's racism balance, there's a little here in like gold.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
Color. Yep. They're making it so hard to find the patch notes.
Seriously.
What the hell is Flame Incarnate?
Okay, let's see. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I have the actual patch notes here.
Uh-huh.
Only an hour and a half in.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, Sour Discharge that sounds like a Nurgle ability.
That's something that, like, when a unit dies, it kills itself and explodes.
Okay, does less damage.
So I guess that's like the Nurglings, maybe. Let me check. No,
All the
they have
locusts.
Blisterback.
Which one?
The Nurglings have Blisterback, not Sour Discharge. So I have absolutely no idea what that ability is for.
Right.
Maybe it's like Uncle for Uncle.
Yeah, maybe. You might be right. Something.
No, wait. Not Uncle for Uncle, but Video Standard Gaff. Nope, he has
no.
Violent Wind. I have no idea about that.
It would be nice, Creative Assembly, in future patch notes to like list whatever unit or lord or like item or whatever this is attached to. Anyway, yeah. All the Locust abilities got their effect range increased. So we're talking like Locust of Abjuration, Beguilement, Locust of Change, Conjuration, Contagion, Fecundity, Grace, Fury, Swiftness, Virulence, Wrath. Yep. All 55 effect range now.
Yeah, and that's a way bigger buff than people think.
Yes.
Because like it goes, the area goes by the square of the radius. So yeah, it's basically, I don't know, like 4 pairs the area as before.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's a lot.
And like for buffs and debuffs, especially having a large area of effect, it makes them just so much better. Like the bigger area of effect you have, pretty much, I mean, obviously the better it's going to be, but like specifically for like buffs and debuffs, I feel like it makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Let's see, Hounds of Orion are the same as Gehenna's Golden Hounds. Yeah, Guarding the Wildwood we talked about. Rune of Hearth and Home is down to 1% vigor per second. It seems like they're standardizing a lot of the vigor refresh abilities to just be 1% per second, which is great.
Yeah.
Talks a little bit about the Black Coach abilities here as well. We're not really going to go over that too much.
Sotek, that's a good one.
This is a big one for sure. These 3 abilities now deal damage via their stationary vortex rather than through a contact effect that applies damage over time. The contact effect Sotek's poison effectively replicates the effect of poison, but since it's applied separately, that means it can stack with regular poisons. So basically you get like a stackable poison, and the damage comes from the vortex itself. So have you had a chance to test this?
To be fair, no, but it says 1 damage, 100% AP for 26 seconds. That's like a fifth of the damage of Pit of Shades.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So it's not gonna kill units. It's just gonna make a lot of nice damage and stack with poison. So every enemy unit around there is gonna deal like minus 30%. Like that's a 30% ward save for the units around the Ark of Sotek. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Definitely solid.
Oh my god, we are near the end.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
We're now just the items. Yeah, Blade of the Serpent's Tongue has been increased. I'm guessing that's a buff or a debuff. Shield of Aeon, same thing. That one's for, what's his face? The White Lizard? Gorok, I think?
Blade of the Serpent's Tongue, I guess. Oh yeah. I think that's, what's his name?
That Sotek?
The Sotek guy.
Yeah.
The Sotek guy. Yeah.
The Henowin.
Yeah, Teeny Weeny. Yes.
Yeah.
Him.
Okay. Shield of the Aeons then also. So like the Lizardmen items getting buffed. Mace of Ulumak gets
Shield of the
dazed.
Aeons, I think, is the... Yeah, Shield of the Aeons is the Gorok one. Mace of Ulumak is still...
also Gorok?
Yeah, Dazed is pretty good.
Yeah, Dazed
I'm not
is
gonna lie.
probably the best contact effect in the game. Maybe. Like that and Soporific Musk are probably the best, but...
yeah.
Acorns of the Oak of Ages does more armor-piercing damage, like double damage, literally, which is good. It did very little before, but it was still okay, honestly.
Yeah.
Dart of Doom.
Dart of Doom.
This is for Aerial?
That's the Yeah, aerial, yeah.
Yeah, so it does now pure AP damage. That's great. Doesn't do well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
less
AP
damage.
explosion, but
Yeah.
and it can now
And can
penetrate.
penetrate. Yeah, that's a big one.
Definitely. So now it can be used more, like skill shotting down the side of an infantry unit. You could probably get some really good value from this now. Wintertooth Crown for Throg actually gets a melee defense component as well as the range increase we've seen for other buffs and debuffs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a big one.
Yeah, melee defense and unbreakable for trolls basically is great. Yeah, and then the Flaming Axe of Cormac, which I don't actually remember. Is that just a generic item, I think, for the Chaos character? It gets an extra 35% AP damage, which is fine. So, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. After an hour and
Oh my
45
God.
minutes, we're done with the patch notes. That's all. And I didn't even talk about, like, the campaign changes that are huge, obviously, to, like, Ogre's bounties, like
I mean, at this point, we can just do a quick 15 minutes mention about those things.
Right?
if you aren't done installing yet.
Right? I think I am, actually. I think we have time for one quick you want to do a battle, a test? What are you thinking here?
Whatever you want. I'm rusty as fuck, so yeah.
Me too, to be honest. So how about we just rub our rusty selves against each other and just do a little battle here?
Yes, why not?
Sounds great. I'm just booting up the game now.
So, here's your code.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. Now the question is, what chariots am I going to play with?
Oh, I'm playing with Slaanesh. You know that was coming.
All right. I guess I'll go Beastmen.
Oh god. What map should we play? I guess Toothgrass Hill?
Sure, that's classic.
Yeah, no, that's not a classic. Tower Hoet it is. Tower Hoet it is.
Ooh, let's see here.
Alright, let's rub our rusty selves against each other. So you're gonna have a shitload of centaurs, aren't you?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Ha. I mean, I guess.
I'm surprised also not to see a nerf to Flock of Doom, to be honest, but that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, those spells, yeah, they should have been nerfed a long time ago. But they weren't, so we're here talking about it.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I'm just thinking how much is it gonna show that I'm rusty. Yeah. Oh, come on. 60 gold? Are you serious about that?
Oh, this is probably a really bad build, but we're gonna give it a shot, you know? We're gonna give it a shot
Yeah, why
here.
not? Just give a shot to a lot of things. 1090. What can I do with that? Yeah, yeah. Maybe? Nope. I'm trying to do something with 400 gold. Not gonna lie, it's not easy.
No worries. Your time.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with the better variant of you.
Oh, that's the Bob says it's the Regiment Renowned Pink Horror's death ability, that little explosion. What is it?
Oh, yeah.
They were so
The
good,
discharge
so
thing.
yeah.
Yes. I mean, they were good, actually.
Yeah. I will, Bob, after this battle, we'll do a quick test of something trying to attack a moving steam tank. We could definitely do that.
Yeah, I have until, yeah, 15 minutes. Should be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, should be enough. This should be a pretty quick game with these two factions.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like, yeah, whoever dies first wins.
Uh,
I mean,
okay.
I can technically Vanguard deploy on top of the point.
We both could.
Yes, I've played a lot of Conquest recently. How did you notice? I mean, are you gonna fully Vanguard deploy?
Am I? Are you?
Am I? I mean, you know my favorite build with Beastmen was, full Vanguard deploy.
Oh, yeah.
That was just one of the funniest things I could do. Yeah, other than that, I guess that...
This is probably too much for me to micro effectively, but, we're here.
Yeah, I'm ready. To forget half of my units.
As long as they're all within visual range, I shouldn't forget about them, right?
Yeah, I just need to go way higher than I'm used to.
Good luck. Have fun.
Good luck, have fun, man. You have Santigors, don't you?
A couple,
Just 4 of them.
Just 4. Not like
I was
10
like,
or whatever.
yeah, he's gonna try to use the new and improved Chariots. No, he isn't.
Okay, doing good, doing good. Yes, let's rub our chariots against each other.
No, don't do that. No, don't do it. How the hell did that happen? Well, I don't have a cavalry force anymore. I mean, I knew they were good, not that good.
Oh, I'm gonna eat the charge over here. That's not good. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, those are actual seekers. Heart seekers. Oh, no. Scary.
Nothing compared to my chariots that just decided they don't want to die anymore.
Aha! You've fallen for my trap.
What trap? I don't see any trap here. Can you please take into the air? Please?
No.
Oh, holy sheesh. Hell no. Oh, I thought I could kill it. I thought I could kill it. I'm not gonna lie. Please go down, 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 please go down.
Oh, he's going down.
Go, Chariot, save my lord. Hell yeah.
Oh, he's done.
Oh, come on, army lost. No, you cannot do that to me now.
Oh, that's so unfair.
I could have won that.
Yeah, I think so too, honestly. Good game though.
GG,
that was fun.
man.
Yeah, the chariots. I mean, it wasn't a super infantry heavy arm. Oh, those are actual chosen. Okay, that makes way more sense now.
Yeah, I had one unit of chosen that was like, yeah, that's gonna do something. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this was not a great army for your chariots to face down, but they did a pretty good job. I mean, Uncle Raiders did something, but none of my other infantry did.
I was very surprised by the Centaurs.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, they're still just better than Hellstriders, I think, overall. But I also did have some support and, like, some magic support and stuff in that engagement, so...
Yeah, I just lost vision of them.
Yeah.
Marauder Horsemen are still very good. So, we're gonna try if someone can actually kill the...
Oop, I accidentally backed out.
Tank?
Let me rejoin. Yes, if we want to do... What do you think? Something that is fast enough to chase the steam tank? Maybe like another single entity?
I mean, the steam tank has 48 speed, so basically anything that works.
Okay, Starbrand it is.
Alright, I'm gonna just press... I just have a steam tank in my army, just to make sure.
Yeah, Odin's Samurai's got to head out in a couple minutes, but I probably have time to do a couple more tests just against the AI. We could maybe check collision damage on a couple units, but
I mean, I guess it's pretty good. Like, collision attack how much it goes through a unit is gonna do damage to anything around him. So, if I recall correctly, that's mainly due to how good the animations are.
Yeah.
Like 90% of things in this game. Aha! Come here, you stupid demon!
Ah! Oh, but look, it's not firing while it's advancing on me. At least not with the main gun.
Oh, it isn't?
Nope, gotta
It
stop.
is.
There it is. Okay, here we go.
Aha! Catch me!
Yeah, the steam gun and the
Oh
little
god,
pistol
we are
shots.
slow! Oh god, we are slow.
Run!
Oh, run, boy, run, run, boy, run.
Okay, let me keep the health bars up
That
so we can
didn't
see.
hit.
Yeah, that didn't do anything. Oh, that got a
Oh,
hit.
that-
Okay,
Yep,
there's
yep,
a hit. There's
There's
another
another
hit.
one.
Okay.
It's
Those
doing
seem-
something.
It's
There's
definitely
another hit.
working. He's even like passing the steam tank now.
Uh-huh.
Yes, Doom Sage. I got Samurai Warrior here with me. Longtime friend of the channel, XMT member, and it's the Legio Italica channel, right? It's an Italian YouTube channel, so
Yep. Mainly focused on PvE now.
nice.
To be completely fair, more than PvP lately.
Yeah. PvP scene, I feel like it's in a decent spot right now, but a lot of people have definitely been waiting for this update and for the next DLC. But yeah, I mean, this definitely seems better. Scarbrand can actually chase and kill a steam tank now, and it's not going to, like, kill him in the process, so...
I mean, it's only gonna take out half of the HP.
Yeah. This is pretty good. It's not
The thing
great,
is,
but
now if you're gonna try to do that with a land ship, the land ship is probably gonna kill Scarbrand.
yeah, maybe,
Scarbrand is gonna do damage, but the land ship is gonna kill him because they have so many more people that shoot.
that's true. With all the dudes on the back, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Are there many gunners that face towards the rear who can kind of fire in that rear area? I think there's at least a couple.
I mean, we can
but
test it.
yeah, we could definitely test it. Zero Beemaster. I guess, is that you, Maze, right? That's your YouTube name? Yeah, that's, it was all from shooting. He took, like, one cannon shot at me on the approach. But yeah, none of that was melee damage from the tank.
Yep.
I'm curious, yeah, multi-model units should be even better because they can be getting even more attacks now. So, like, if you're chasing it with, like, a unit of AP cavalry, you should honestly probably kill it pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially because, like, it doesn't shoot with the front gun now.
Yeah.
Just the other two minor guns.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. I have a big ship and you don't.
You gonna take a big ship? Oh, yeah, it's shooting me already.
Turn your larger than life scam.
Yeah, there's like two guys that face the rear. Kinda. Yeah, they do face pretty
Let
much
me
fully
just see
rear.
how many of them shoot.
Let's see.
I don't think he shoots in the back.
Yeah, I don't think they do shoot directly behind him. I was like, why are you faster than me? You have full power active.
Okay, yeah, so if you're right behind it, they don't shoot.
Oh, there's a hit right away.
I guess now I have to employ the best tactic ever used. The oh my god, the Empire Total War.
Yeah,
Turn my
like
ship. Crap.
like snaking back and forth, like, or just going in a
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah. Go, do that. It doesn't know where to turn. Look at the front wheels. Yeah, okay, that's doing. Cameron is doing much better against the land ship than against the steam
The
tank.
steam tank, yeah. That's actually okay. I guess land ships are unbanned, maybe? Like, if you can actually kill them with dedicated melee stuff like this. I mean, granted, this is with no other support, and the Empire would probably have, you know, newly buffed Demigryph Knights trying to kill Scarbrand, but, yeah, that's actually good. That's a good thing. Nice.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. That is
wow, that charged up Slaughter and Carnage 8% just killing the land ship. I don't know how many crew members it has, but that's just, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So thank you so much for the stream, Dev. Sadly, I have to go doing things like eat.
Yeah, you human, how dare you? No,
So yeah.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thanks for joining, lending your expertise. It's always a pleasure, my friend. Take care.
It's been a pleasure, and goodbye everyone in chat. Thank you, Dev.
Let's just check real quick. I do actually have to head out fairly soon as well, but we'll finish up with a few quick tests here. How are the new halberds? Let's take a look at that. Vampire counts. Yeah, I guess I can just like take some and have a big monster come attack me. Let's go. Best case scenario, we've got Gorst on a corpse cart to support. So we get the benefit of Master of the Dead, and the Unholy Lodestone, and the Reliquary Corruption for enemies. So let's try... Yeah, Giamma, if you wanna hop on, yeah, absolutely. Let me create a lobby real quick, and I can invite you. And if you want to jump on chat as well, feel free to shoot me a call. In fact, I'll shoot you a call right now. How about that?
Hello, hello.
Hello, and welcome. I think this is my first time ever having you on stream, so official welcome for you.
I'm sorry, not one moment. I have double audio.
No
okay,
worries. Double the
I'm
dog.
close the live. 1 minute. I'm install the patch. I have a very fast connection, so
Sure.
you don't wait too much.
No problem. I will, real quick while you're installing, let's just check something that doesn't require too much human intervention. Let's just take a Cathay here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I contact you because I see the live with Samurai, and at the moment you don't have a human sparring partner, so we can play.
Yeah, we can definitely
And
play.
I love the new Chariot.
Yeah, they seem so good, honestly. Like, definitely how chariots are intended to work. This seems like they're correct now.
Seems the same to me. I need to check the single entity one, because they usually are pretty strong, but overall is a nice change.
Definitely. So let's see. I've got this Kadai here, just with some regular old Chaos Warriors. Let's see. It select the wrong map, but...
the new damage, the new attack.
Yeah, see the collision attacks. If it
Collision attack
makes much of a difference. There were a few units, mainly the Kadai and the Bear were the main ones that I was like, why don't they already have collision attacks? But okay, so it seems decent. It's not like completely devastating, the Kadai, at least on the charge, but it can kind of run through units. It's still getting stuck a little bit here, but let's see if I can get it to disengage.
Yeah, the problem, in my opinion, is the army. It's difficult for you to bring that unit in a Chaos Dwarf army.
Yeah, a lot of their units are so expensive. It's tough to afford like a cohesive army that can do everything you need to. But it seems decent.
But is a superb unit. It's fantastic.
That
it's
attack
very nice.
straight up missed, so that's nice. But I mean, that rear charge there was able to do some pretty good damage, so... I don't know. It doesn't seem great still, but better. Yeah, when it gets like a solid attack animation...
Also, the stats, it's not too bad, but the damage is not that great.
Yeah, on the charge, it seems like if you get a good contact, especially in like the rear of the unit, it'll do a pretty good amount of damage, but... yeah, it's okay. Maybe not as much as I was expecting, but... It's definitely not getting stuck, at least on these infantries anymore. I don't know. I'd have to check against, like, monstrous infantry and cavalry, but... I don't know, chat. What do you think? What do you think? Is it the decent, not great? I think it's okay. But... because the collision damage is nice, but it really only applies if the unit's moving, right? So it's like when it's just kind of grinding in melee, it doesn't really help very much. But...
yeah. In my opinion, it's not that great, but it's better than before.
Definitely. I would agree with that assessment. Yeah, I mean, it's been fighting like 4.5 minutes constantly, pretty much, and it's only got like 1100 value, so it's okay. It's better than before, and certainly will be usable in some builds, not just a complete waste, but I'm guessing the bear is basically the same. Like, it's better, but still not amazing.
Yeah, it can be good for disrupting the archer unit, the fire unit, but I think, for example, train is better for do that.
Yeah, it's way cheaper and similar, honestly, probably similar performance. But...
what is the mass of this unit?
9,000? Just a cool 9,000. I mean, it's not taking much damage, though, I will say, and these are just non-AP Chaos Warriors, so it's not like they have that great a damage output, but it's... I mean, it would be able to beat 3 of them, no problem. Like... Blazing Body is charging up. With 100 kills, it's like 60% intensity, so that's probably still a little bit too much, but at least it's like you'll get some benefit out of it.
Okay.
No, Drew Safer, we did not test the Graveyard Halberds quite yet, but unfortunately it took me...
What do you think about Albert the Graveguard?
It's hard to say. Their stats are not great, other than their weapon strength and armor, but, I mean, vampire counts, like, you should probably have a Corpse Car always near them anyway, so, like, just add +5/+5 to their attack defense, and they're probably decent. I mean, they'll synergize well with, like, Mortis Engine and Corpse Cart kind of blob playstyle, so, like, I think you'll see them occasionally in those builds, and it seems like they'll probably be good against large targets, but not great against infantry, so... I don't know, to be honest. Like, it will help some matchups, but it doesn't help the elf matchups, like, at all, I don't think, honestly.
I think it's a niche unit, only in a specific matchup you can bring that.
Yeah. Yeah, 975 feels rough, Itchy Fish says in the chat, which I agree. It feels a little expensive. They should probably be like 950, just like the great weapons, but...
Yeah. And with VC, you have difficult to take the Oppo on that because you don't have a shooting unit. So you always must be the aggressor.
Yeah, so defensive unit, like, it's kind of tricky to make it work with that playstyle, right? But, yeah, I'm curious. Like I said, I don't think it'll help, like Khorne, for example. It'll probably help that matchup, or a lot of other factions which might take, like, a lot of monsters or monstrous infantry against you. It will help those matchups, but it's not going to help like matchups like Cathay or Elves where their infantry is just so much better than yours that you just lose pretty much. Like,
I'm trying to sig in the lobby, but I have an error. Sorry.
okay, let me
Hold on.
rehost real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll send the new code. Password's 123.
Okay. I think now I see your lobby. And I love the new conquest. The new tickets number is much better than before.
Yeah.
For me.
I think I agree.
Um,
I mean, I haven't had a lot of chance to play besides just that one game with Samurai, but it seems better for sure. Have you had some Conquest games?
Yeah, I try a tournament on 650 tickets before the patch on my own, and I see it's better for various playstyle. You can kite, you can play more defensive. Is better, and you not are you don't must be rush the point.
So like vanguarding on
What?
the point with a bunch of infantry. I mean,
Yeah.
not that it was. I mean, vanguard infantry is usually not super tanky, but like dwarfs often would just like rush the point with a bunch of infantry and stand on it. So.
Yeah, Nurgle.
Nurgle, yep. Same thing, yep. So, for this test, I'm thinking halberds, graveguard halberds. What do you think is a good like a monster or other unit that you might see that you would want to take them against? I'm thinking, yeah, honestly, maybe something from Khorne or
Good. Or we can try against Grey Knight,
Yeah.
Bretonnia, or what you want. It's your stream.
let's start with maybe Lewin and some Grail Knights, and I'll have
Yeah.
like
Okay.
basically your objective is to snipe Gorst on his corpse cart, and I'll just defend him with the halberds, and we'll see how it goes.
So Luen and Grail, one I think is sufficient.
Okay. And let me switch to map.
I like the change on Questing Knight. The two more melee attack is nice, because in Warhammer 3 they don't perform like in Warhammer 2,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, Warhammer 2, they were in almost every Bretonnia build, and I think part of that is also because Grails are just so much better now, and whereas in Warhammer 2 they weren't as good, nearly as good.
Yeah.
So they kind of took the place a little bit of the questing knights, but
Before they are only armor piercing option, and now you have Grey Knight that is superb.
exactly. We'll see this, like the halberds, this is a matchup where I could definitely see them helping. Like any matchup where, again, you're not worried about super high quality infantry, I think the Graveguard halberds will be a decent, like one or two of them maybe to defend your backline.
Yeah, it's a help for the Blood Dragon Knight, I think, in the matchup.
Yeah.
The answer is always the Bretonnian Archer,
Yeah.
but we will see. I'm ready.
Me too.
If you insist.
They look, I mean, they're basically Graveguard. They just have, like, little Bardishes and halberds and stuff, which is, I guess, fine. But...
I try to take off the brace.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, they're definitely fighting back. Bell Knights are taking some damage.
Yeah. It's not that great. I agreed. So I will try a charge when you are brace.
Okay. Let me get the health front. Let's see here.
Okay.
Come on, lads.
We are dead.
Go.
Mm. Okay. a lot of damage for me. Okay, okay. It's
Yeah.
nice.
That's pretty good. That's definitely very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the corpse cart, 25, 39, they're getting the perfect vigor. Well, not perfect, but better vigor as well. A little bit of heal.
Yeah. With that, their stat it's good. It's in line with other Alberts.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I think like Mortis Engine, Corpse Cart, that kind of play style, like synergizes pretty well with the halberds. So yeah, it's interesting. They are more a defensive unit, but you can kind of use them offensively in some ways. And yeah, I think like if you're
for example, in this matchup, you must fight a bunch of crap infantry, quindi so the cavalry is the only damage dealer for Bretonnia, and the archer.
yeah. Which archers depends on the build. If you can sometimes like get zombie summons and other stuff to shut down archers, but this is pretty good.
And
Let's see, like this, if I'm countercharging Lewin on the ground here. I'm doing a tiny bit of damage.
okay. I'm taking damage. Not so.
Yeah, with stand your ground, hardly any, but
With haste.
yeah, a little bit. Lewin is quite tanky in general, but
Yeah. But without stand your ground, I take a little more damage.
yeah,
Stand your grounds, I'm regenerating. Okay. It's a nice, situation.
yeah, they're doing pretty good. Like if you're like I said, I get like protecting Mortis Engine Corpse Card, I think, or like like you said with Blood Dragon, even like what's the name of the ability? Helm of Discord for these guys is going to be very helpful with like big timing push. If your enemy charges in, you pop Helm of Discord, and like basically they have to disengage or they're going to die.
Yeah, and in a build you can take 1, 2 Alberts. You don't need the 4, so it's really good.
Yeah. I definitely think, yeah, 1 or 2, like 1 plus the Sternsmen maybe, because then the Sternsmen kind of anti-infantry, and with their just high melee defense and regeneration, they're just super tanky in general. And you have one of these guys to provide a little bit more like damage against large targets. I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, that one unit got 3,000 value.
Okay, not the real scenario in a tournament.
Oh, definitely not. This is ideal for them, but still, I mean, they took not a lot of damage in the process and were able to do what they're designed to do, so that's pretty good.
It's better than what I think before.
Yeah. Well, before you had nothing. It's like skeleton spears.
Okay, what do you want I try?
Let's see. I think I have time for one more. Do you want to just play a game maybe with the vampire counts versus whoever, honestly, and we can just see. You're probably a lot more in practice than me, but we can maybe try in a real battle scenario, like how it works.
As you want. For me, it's okay.
Sure. Maybe. Yeah, either like Bretonnia or maybe like Monogods, like Khorne or Slaanesh. Somebody who's going to be kind of more melee focused.
Okay. I'm not so good with vampire counts, but I will try at my best.
Oh, I was going to play the vampire count, sorry, and have
okay.
you play
Okay.
play the opponent, if that's okay.
Okay. So I can play a elf, Bretonnia, Khorne.
Yeah, let's try
What do you
Bretonnia.
want?
Let's try Bretonnia.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty good matchup.
Esatto. And gold and gold.
Let's see. Yeah, just take whatever you think. Whatever you think.
Oh, the change on the peasant mob.
25% cost increase.
Yeah. Inflection.
Not even the peasants are safe.
Yeah. That peasant is too much.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's see. Hmm.
I need more money.
I know, right? Feeling the same thing. Like, it's all so expensive.
Okay. Try this.
I just realized something. Okay. Oh, perfect. Zero spend. Let me switch the map as well.
I lost. Okay.
Do Prague. It seems appropriate, and it's a nice balanced map. Right, let's see how this goes. I'm not a vampire counts player by any means, but played them some, so this should be... I mean, how hard can it be? You just smash your face on the keyboard, right? Like... Sorry, you'll need to ready
Oh.
up again since I switched the
Okay.
map.
Yeah. Ah. Okay.
Yeah, Curse of Years and Glean Magic both got silence as well, which is nice. Glean Magic is probably better because it's cheap and you can kind of throw it on something quick. But Curse of Years will be okay for certain setup scenarios, but Rogue Idol Splash Attack, Max Targets Change actually a buff? Yes, so Violent Senpai. Basically any single entity that lost Splash Attack targets, it's actually a buff because then they'll do like more damage and actually kill the unit models faster of the units they're fighting, which means it lessens their killing power, right? So yes, any unit you see, there's a bunch in the patch notes that had that change. That's actually a buff, even though it might not seem like it.
Yeah.
Their time has come. It is time. Still my beating heart.
Oh, playing
I'm
vampire
ready.
counts. Like one control group, basically.
Mortis engine. The living will join us.
Okay, good luck, have fun.
Yeah. Good luck, have fun.
Okay. All right.
Lord and Master.
Ooh.
Okay.
I didn't expect that damage.
Okay, these guys are all blobbing up. That's great. Oh no.
Ma... okay.
Oh, way over blobbed here.
With haste. Swiftly.
Mortis engine.
Earth Invader! I am your master now. With haste! But feel the night. Allow their blood. End them.
It is fate.
Very well. I thirst. Swiftly. Yes, blood.
Okay.
Night has fallen. With haste. Lead them.
Okay. I definitely feel like they're helping so far.
Swiftly.
No.
Yes. Now listen. The Cathay rise against us.
Okay. This is, yeah, I feel like this is going really well for me. We'll see so far, but I definitely think that this matchup is going to be a lot harder because these halberds, like, specifically
Yeah.
for this matchup are going to be really good.
No, no, why?
Definitely not over.
Night comes.
Definitely not.
This time, so much death.
That Banshee.
Yeah. Super MVP for sure. Saw they got a little leadership increase, which I think Banshees were already very underrated before. But
Corpse cart. Yes, yes. They'll die and rise. Now.
ooh, maybe.
Blood magic.
Mortis engine.
I think too much infantry for only 2 cavalry now.
Yeah.
serve me, Vampire Lord. Love magic.
Mortis
No.
engine.
Ah. Okay. GG.
GG. That was yeah, that was a very good showcase of them, I feel like.
Yeah. Definitely good good unit that Albertus.
Let's see here. Thanks, Real
Hey,
Human
hey,
Being,
dude.
Clutch Corpse Cart Micro. Yeah, I mean, one of them just pays for itself, 960. The other one, 1331. Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely good. Yeah. Agreed.
Specifically this kind of thing where they're supporting like Corpse Cart, Mortis Engine. You got the Banshee or any ethereal unit, to be honest, to apply Frostbite so stuff can't get away as well. You know, Blood Dragon has great synergy with the Helm of Discord. Like this build specifically, I think, I don't know, I might try this against a couple of other factions as well, but I think this is potentially really strong.
Yeah. If you want, I can play it. I can play another faction.
Yeah, I think I got time for one more. Do you want to try? Let's give one of the elves a shot. I don't know that they'll help a lot in those matchups, but I think it'd still be interesting to see if anything really changes there.
My favorite faction is a elf. If you want, I can play that.
Yeah, high elf sounds great.
But they are pretty strong in this matchup.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I would give them an advantage, probably even still, but let's give it a shot and let's see if the halberds feel like they make any difference.
Yeah. I want to try the new Lion Chariot.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. I think I will change here some things. Also... AP missiles, aim up, yep, and like magic damage also. I mean, AoE magic damage is like maybe less good against vampire counts because they have so much healing, but it's still good. And like they also will die to like dedicated anti-infantry, so like, you know, swordmasters would absolutely crush them.
Yeah, but I think I can. I must don't. Oh, sorry, it's late for me.
No worries, no worries.
I don't bring the Swordmaster for this match. It's a show match, so I won't test another units like Lion Chariots.
Sure. Sounds good. I think I will also try something here. Let's do that. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, let's see. Okay, that'll do. And I'll switch the map once more. Let's go. Nope, not Black Ark. Not that one either. Eshin. Here we go. It's a decent one. You think Foot Squires would work in that matchup? No. Foot Squires are not very good. If you bring enough anti-mortis engine tools, the problem with Foot Squires is they're going to get crushed by like horrors or, you know, also, you know, just get killed by the dragon or like whatever cavalry they decide to bring. Like They're just not that good.
Yeah, they cost too much, and you can spend more money on cav.
Yep.
And that is what you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah, the patch comes out for everyone tomorrow. Creative Assembly was kind enough to give us some early access so we could showcase some things for you guys. Very nice of them.
And very nice for us.
Absolutely. Go with this color scheme here, and I'm ready.
Okay, wow, one moment. I need to spend 2,000 money on something.
Now, unfortunately, meow, I'm going to have to probably go after this battle, but yeah,
Okay.
if anyone... Tomorrow, if anyone wants to, of course, the patch will come out. I'm sure I'm going to get tons of replays. If anyone wants to test Burning Chariot or any unit that saw major changes, absolutely, replays will be open. So it should be a lot of fun.
And trying to speed myself.
No worries.
Eight gold. No.
Oh, no.
Okay. I take off something. No, I would try that. I take off this, and okay. Okay, I'm good. I will go like this.
I did have one game aim up if you rewind against Samurai Warrior where we used some chariots, but there wasn't a ton of infantry in that game. Even still, though, the chariots felt decent. I haven't got a ton of games in yet, but
you already tried the Chariot?
a little bit. Just one game, Slaanesh versus Beastmen. We both took some chariots.
I bring 3.
Excuse me. That's they seem good, but not. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, they seems good, but not OP.
Yeah,
to me.
I would agree.
But Cetra on Chariot is mamma mia.
Looking forward to it. Honestly,
with Glorious Charge.
Yeah, with Glorious Charge. Dude, I saw the Royal Altdorf Ripfights got Glorious Charge and 60 charge bonus. I'm so happy about that.
And I think the nerf to regrowth can balance that. Even if they are pretty strong now.
Definitely. Yeah, the bigger nerf is it's pretty impactful. It's one of those things you see it and you're like, oh, that doesn't actually change very much, but then you use it in battle and you realize that it actually does change a lot. But
yeah, they don't change for Bretonnia because they have cavalry with perfect vigor, but for other faction is a big change.
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay, I'm also ready. Yes, it is, Romulan Dog. Graveguard with halberds, indeed.
Okay.
Oh, the Tier Nox, huh? Nice.
No. Seems to me better than Itilmar. I don't like Itilmar.
No, I
cost too much.
Yeah.
Do nothing better than Tiranoc.
Yeah, definitely not. Oh, that does some damage. Oh god.
Night comes. For Sylvania. It shall be.
Ooh, not actually microing my black coaches. Yeah, they don't seem that much better, to be honest. Seems pretty bad, but that's okay.
Okay.
What are you guys doing? I'm taking so much damage right now from these archers. Is there an AoE net there? Or my Banshee just doesn't have the mass to get through here?
No. It's normal one.
Oh, that was not invocation of the heck. That's
With
okay.
haste, tonight I feast. Undeath Ascendant.
Oh,
Attack.
okay.
I haven't had Winds of Magic this whole time. I feel like I'm screwed because of that. Yeah, this build also, like double black
Chariot
coach,
power.
was not gonna, not gonna do a lot for me, but.
Oh, my Lion Chariot. Okay. They are stuck in melee.
You know, these corpse carts getting murdered.
Swiftly. With haste. Swiftly.
Yeah, I did not use my anti-archer resources well enough. Taking way too much damage from those.
Swiftly. With haste. Swiftly. With haste. Swiftly. I hunger. With haste.
No, don't attack right there.
Vampire Lord.
Oh. Terrible spot. Oh well, I think you probably got this anyway. Probably gonna hit army losses right now.
No, it's a difficult matchup for.
Yeah, and the
Issue.
halberds, I mean, they don't really do anything for this matchup because the units that hurt you are not large generally. Like, I mean, like it will help
I
having
can
one
bring
maybe, but
one dragon, fireburn, but fireburn it's good in every situation. So and I can take Illyrian rivers, but
hmm.
they are light cavalry. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
And-
one coach almost paid for itself, even with me microing them horribly. But I think, yeah, I mean, one halberd also pays for itself, so maybe it's good to have one in this matchup, but I don't think it's going to change the matchup significantly.
Mm. And in this matchup, I prefer the shielded one or the great weapon one
Yeah.
because the shielded are protected from the shooting,
Yeah.
and I must take a lot of archer. And the great weapon is more aggressive, deal more damage in a minor time, so you can try to push my front line.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, I'd maybe take one, but not more than that.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, the black coach is also, if you use them better, like you're able to kind of like the support units I had wasn't that great with them, but if you were to, I just don't know, like in terms of support units that would be good, because the idea with the black coaches is to try and get in the back line to disrupt some of the archers, and even if you're not, let's say, like killing a lot of Lothern Sea Guard, but this, and in a lot of builds, I just don't think you'll be able to take good mobile support units. Like the Fireborn are such a problem that like. I don't know. You could tech into Blood Knights, but they're so expensive and they just lose to the Fireborn. So.
Now they have a counter, and that there is a Fireborn, so Blood Dragon is a little risky, dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I almost
But
think.
I like one black coach. I think it's good. Two, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You need to micro the hero, the lord, to chariot.
Yeah, I think especially for my rusty micro right now, it's definitely too much. Like other people could maybe pull this off. I could see, and maybe also, I don't know. Like high elves have enough magic damage that you can't really take ethereals here, but I don't know. Sometimes they don't actually take the magic damage tools, so it could be a good surprise. But like against some other factions, I could see like Cairn Wraiths being decent for supporting kind of black coach to try and bail it out of situations, and I don't know.
You are right. Usually, I take one Sister of Avalon and one Torcaleda. They deal much more damage than for Loten Sigurd, but with the rework of Gates of Nagash, it's dangerous because to cast and you have lost 3,000 gold.
Yeah, I could see that. The missile spread just like kills the whole unit, right? So. Yeah.
They let the entire unit with one overcast, I think.
Yeah, even with the Lothern Sea Guard, like if I was able to just like tie them down, like maybe get a better timing with the bats and tie them down, and then maybe do a breath attack from the side plus the gaze and the gash, I could probably cut through for Lothern Sea Guard. Yeah, so again, maybe the halberds, like
good.
You take one to help deal with the Fireborn in the late game, but yeah, so they seem decent. I was kind of skeptical at first because their stats are so low, but I mean, vampires have so many ways of buffing them that it's fine. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head out. But thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Some great games, some nice tests, and
thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again sometime.
When you want, and I'm free, it's no problem.
All right, man. Well, see you, everyone else as well in the chat. Thanks y'all for joining, watching, commenting. You guys are all the best. You're the reason I do this, so thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.